Hello, everybody. I am your androgynous android game show host from the future, Nathan Blades, and this is the Neon Caster Twitch channel. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. I am so fucking excited to bring to you the latest tabletop RPG campaign for this channel. This has been in the oven for a while, and it is finally here. It is finally here. We are going to be playing Blades in the Dark this evening, which is very, very good. But I am not going to be running this campaign this time. Instead, we are going to be having friend of the show. Well, you've been long established as a member of Phantom Arts Entertainment. Please, everybody, welcome to the stage, Draco.
Woo! Ah! Yay!
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, goodness gracious. An enthusiastic introduction. Thank you. Yeah, hi, my name is Draco Alexander. And I am very, very excited to be game mastering for this little mini campaign that we'll be doing. Yes, it's an idea that's been percolating in my mind for quite some time, and I'm very excited to see how it turns out with this particular group of wonderful people.
I mean, I'm especially while I'm setting up some background music so we can chat over that. Tell me a little bit about what kind of inspired Escape to the Void Sea. What kind of was ticking over in your brain to get us to where we are now?
So when I first learned about Blades in the Dark, it seemed like exactly the kind of thing that addressed a part of tabletop RPG correctly and kind of formed its entire system around that, and that is the sort of sneaking heist. We see a lot of shows that do heists, but the mechanics aren't actually there to really support it specifically, whereas with Blades, that's what it's all about, you know? And so, you know, that was just kind of in the back of my mind as I was reading this, and I was just watching movies with my friends, and we watched The Warriors, and something just immediately clicked, and I went, we should do something like that. I now have the perfect system for this. And so we'll see how y'all handle some of those situations and more.
Yeah, after you mentioned that The Warriors was an inspiration for this, I was like, okay, this is a movie that I have meant to watch for a while and never got round to. Let's go do that. And it was a lot of fun. I was kind of rooting for almost every team aside from the team that was focused on. But that particular tone of everybody's like specific kind of like unified fashion look, like it's not just jackets and it's an entire couture that each gang has, and I was like, I love that. And is Thigpen doing the voice of the like radio host, and you only ever see her lips and like the needle on the vinyl kind of going on when a new track starts, and I'm like, this is a good mood. This is a fantastic inspiration.
That on its own was such a huge thing of being able to, you know, think along the lines of, okay, so that's our narrator 100%, and I can't do that voice for obvious reasons. But it just, that concept of having a radio DJ be the narrator for whatever you're doing also kind of stuck with me, and led to some of the alterations that we've made to the city of Duskfall. But we'll get into that a little bit later, I think.
Absolutely. But first, let's go and introduce the rest of our fantastic players. Going from the left of the various characters that you can see, this normal human in a pork pie hat to the left, very ordinary individual, played by the delightful Ruben, returning to roll dice with me once again. Hi, Ruben.
Tank Fly Boss Walk Jam Nitty Gritty. You're listening to the boy from Duskfall City. Oh!
Yeah, there we go. Nice.
There we go. Bringing it back, but with a twist. Putting a little cherry on top. Hi, everyone. I'm back. I'm here to support the arts created by all of us collaboratively, but mostly by Draco Alexander. I'm so excited. Blades in the Dark is one of my favorite systems to play a game in, and here I am playing a game.
Yes. I guess we kind of, you know, bonded as friends over Blades in the Dark. With you running it as GM, and it has kind of stayed in my head rent-free ever since.
A full year of Blades in the Dark. Looking back, it was fond memories, but how did we last that long?
We reached a solid ending though, as I recall. We definitely high drama, and a lot of that kind of influenced even the campaigns and stuff that I've run since. There are multiple characters in Arcana Core that were actually carried over from that campaign with us together. So it's nice to be playing this system again. Watch me realize that we've been playing it wrong this entire time and run into mechanics balls when we play with a different GM.
I'm waiting for the sort of like the paradigm shift where the Blades in the Dark you have in your head because of my way of running versus how we are actually supposed to play. That happens and your world just breaks, like the sky opens up in Dragon Ball Z.
Ego death, absolutely.
You know, honestly, this is going to be this game. That's all I'm going to say about that. You know, the system should not get in the way of the story. So, you know.
No, we vibe with that. That's perfectly fine. Introducing, first time appearing on our channel, but I'm delighted to have him. How should I introduce you, actually, by the way? Should I use your like Discord name? Shall I be using your actual name? How would you prefer? I didn't ask before because I'm a professional broadcaster.
I assume me? I don't know. I am not professional in the least, so this is fun. I guess Discord name's fine. Yeah.
Okay, absolutely. Also, thank you for the follow, Vassal of Hassel. Very good name. Wow. Please welcome to the floor. Give everybody a warm welcome to Captain Comic Geek.
Oh
yeah!
I was told to quiet it down. So, woo, yeah, all right.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. This is my first live stream ever, so great.
Yeah, thank you doubly thank you so much for joining us, because I know that being a live performance is a very different experience to other forms of dice rolling, but it's like also my favorite art form in the world. So thank you for joining me on this little adventure. Tell us, because you know the people out there listening haven't seen you on the channel before. Tell us a little bit about your own RPG interests and experiences.
Well, I'm actually a player for Draco. He's my forever GM. Sorry, buddy.
It's okay.
It's right before the world went to hell. They invited me into their weekly D&D campaign, and to play with that group, and we've kind of been just mess around with different systems ever since. So mostly a D&D player. It's where I've had the most experience, but I started to look into just all kinds of different systems. Blades in the Dark, Draco showed that to me, and that looked super fun. And frankly, just being able to play any character where I can solve problems by punching people in the face is just the best for me.
Understood. Yeah. That's a character archetype I actually have a lot of trouble playing. Even when I'm playing characters that are very, very good at punching, I still want to be like a crafty, talking my way out of things. Oh, thank you for the follow, Dust Lucky. Do bear in mind that when we actually get into gameplay, the notifications will be off, and we probably won't be directly responding to chat. So please do get your follows in now. Thank you. Exactly like that. Thank you for the follow, Gay Cheesecake 101. Also an incredible.
Gay Cheesecake.
Amazing name.
Fantastic.
Welcome to the smorgasbord.
Also, we have on the far right in that delightful.
I hope not.
I hope not. Smile. Oh gosh.
Marching into
no, not that. At the right edge of your screen, you will see this delightful individual in a witch hat and a winning smile, played by Tom, also returning. Wait to fucking throw me off. Also, a returning player on the channel. Please, everybody, give a warm welcome to Tom.
Whoa! Oh yeah, we're snapping.
Yeah.
Loud applause.
There we go.
Thank you. Good to be back again. Yeah, I've been very much looking forward to playing this system. I've been seeing lots of the stuff that's gone on in the background for it and hearing quite a lot about it. So it's looking like it's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's super delightful to play with you, and I guess with you as a player,
rather
than as a GM or you playing for me, which is I think a first time.
Yeah. There's been at least 2 campaigns where I've been playing one GM. So yeah, nice to be on the same team, as it were, for a bit.
To make somebody else's life narratively difficult.
Absolutely.
No, we're both darlings. We're very story. Although Tom is actually much more crunch brain focused than me, which I think is actually honestly really impressive. I had like a formative experience playing GURPS, and apparently my subconscious said never again. So it's good to
We
be.
should get you to play Traveler at some point just to have something that's even worse.
I've still got that anima book sat on the side at some point with its tables and percentage damage
I mean,
increases.
maybe I wouldn't mind having a go for like fun, but I think it's very much if you're playing with other people who are kind of like know the system really well and look at you like, keep up, nerd. How are you not mastering this dice system you've never seen before? I'm like,
Allow me to explain Traveler in the shortest way I've ever had it explained to me. It's the only system in the world where you can die during character creation.
I see.
Oh, I like the sound of that, honestly.
I mean, it
Just a
depends
full
on how
return
long
to
character
start.
creation takes you. Because if you do that for like an hour and then just die, it's like, cool, I wasted an hour. Fun time.
I just want to play. I just want to play a game where, like, if I ask the question, "How much damage do I do?" and the GM responds, "So, how much do you know about logarithms?"
So Shadowrun 6th edition.
Oh God, I haven't
Where's
even
my
looked at
bucket of D6s?
Ugh.
See, rolling a ton of d6s is rad. It's everything else. Anyway, actually, speaking in that kind of like a concept of like getting more used to the idea of playing crunchy games, I'm going to talk about this now because it puts the intent out into the world, meaning that we will inevitably release a beta for it.
No, don't do it.
Because both Tom and I have been playing and really enjoying Library of Ruiner, which has a very surprisingly well involved and incredibly dark like lore. We both went, that would make for a fantastic OSR. I've never made an OSR and I've only played Morkborg, but I could write one. Yeah. So we've been like throwing ideas into like a Google Docs for a while, but I'm actually really enamored with the idea. I think we have some really cool ground concepts that I've not seen in any other tabletop RPGs, because that's what excites me about writing systems. But also the ability to kind of make fights very messy and very lethal in a way that's like fun and not annoying is a challenge that I want to work my way through with somebody who definitely has a better understanding of that kind of shit than me. So, watch this
No
space.
promises.
We might
Yeah,
do a
no.
game design stream about it at one point, actually. That might be fun
Yeah,
to do.
no, absolutely.
Where we go and discuss our ideas live on air as we go type them in. That'd be sick. Oh, and I suppose I should move over to me. I'm playing that dreaded geezer with the golden smile on in the middle of there. I am your boy Nathan Blades. We don't have a robot voice on, so I am not my VTuber alter ego. Although we're obviously separate people. We're clearly separate people, entirely different entities.
Ooh, we love you, Nathan.
Yeah, there we
Yay.
go. Yay! You didn't need to clap for me.
To
I mean,
put
you
it
know,
in-
if people clap and cheer for me every time I stream, that'd be a great day. Yeah, no, I'd made it then. But yes, I'm the proprietor, the main producer of shows on this channel. Thank you so much for joining us on this new adventure. I'm not going to talk for very long because I'm very excited to get to be rolling dice. What else is there to cover? Are there any particular kind of content warnings you want to give, Draco, before we get into the mix?
You know, I can't really know any specific content warnings until we get super into this because of how player directed this system is.
Very fair. Very fair.
I will put a blanket warning down for just there may be violence. I'm going to sort of be gauging people's reactions to levels of violence. I already know Captain Comic Geek's ins and outs at this point, and we've got our lines and veils set out. But just generally speaking, say call
Yeah.
out if I've crossed a line at some point.
No
I
problem
don't
at all.
think I should.
No,
but,
we should be we should be
yeah.
Gucci.
This isn't a
I
horror campaign, so you know.
This is a horror campaign, so body horror is pretty likely, especially with
Oh,
how I and Ruben have built our
Yeah.
characters. Body horror
Yeah,
is pretty
yeah.
likely.
A little bit, but at the same time, I feel like we won't be leaning into it too much.
Yeah, we've played. This isn't like the way that I did the character designs for like Mork Borg. It's not going to be as grisly as that. Drinking and drug use is pretty likely to come up. With what our crew is about and what we do, and as you say, yeah, general bit of violence. I would generally call this a what would that be? A 15, a 15A.
Yeah, that's appropriate.
Yeah.
PG if you're using the
And
MPAA score. You know.
I'd also add a general content warning for descriptions of like sea creatures and slimy things for completely human reasons, of course.
Entirely normal human reasons.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, I mean, the crew's based on the docks. Things happen.
All
Sometimes
right.
there might be a jellyfish.
Well, with all of that out of the way, I think we can go over to our main Roll20 screen. Yeah, there we go. Beautiful.
All right.
I'll leave it to you, Draco.
All right, I'll go ahead and start up our theme, and we'll get going. So, once again, my name is Draco Alexander, and I'm the game master for this miniseries, Escape to the Void Sea. As we've stated a few times, we're playing the series in Blades in the Dark's City of Doskvol, but it is not quite the city you may be familiar with. The Victorian trappings are all still there. The brickwork buildings line the damp, misty streets, surrounded by fences of refined, rusting wrought iron, and the constant semi-darkness of the shattered sun is abated by electroplasmic lamps. But this semi-magical technology has taken another step forward. The most important new marvel is known as the Electrovox, and it allows anyone with a large enough antenna and a bit of electroplasmic know-how to broadcast sound waves all across the city. In a place already rich with covert machinations, this kind of free communication can surely only result in good things, right? Another recent innovation, an imported beverage from Tykeros, has taken Doskvol by storm and created a swath of new dens of caffeine and iniquity. Our view of Doskvol, covered in mist and the constant rain and humming with electroplasmic light, swoops down onto one of these dens of iniquity, shall we say, called the Golden Hour, one of the most refined establishments on the docks, and headquarters to a crew known as Smile the Widest. You'll give me just a moment to get my notes in order, because that's definitely a thing that I did before we did this.
No, it's all good. I think I once started a session and then realized I just didn't have my notes loaded at all. Like, moved over to gameplay and everything. I'm very professional.
The docks of Doskvol are ancient, going back to the days before the Cataclysm, when the area was just a small settlement trading with the Skovland kingdoms to the northwest. Today, some commerce has shifted to the new electro rail lines of the Imperium, but the docks are still bustling with the cargo haulers, fishing boats, and the prestigious Leviathan hunter ships, which provide the raw materials that keeps the city running. Of course, all manner of other goods are being transported here as well. And that is what the Golden Hour is here to serve. So, the first character we're going to meet up with is going to be Dashia Locklear. Who are you? What do you look like? And what are you doing right now?
Okay, probably cutting to the rooftops around the docklands. You'll the small figure of Dash jumping from rooftop to rooftop, assisting her parkouring a little bit with a chain that she's throwing out from under her relatively long oilskin poncho, which covers her quite scrawny frame. Dasher, one of the newer members of the crew, having been brought in to assist with very supernatural agreements, as she's probably one of the more foremost or prolific demon summoners of the area. And she'll be currently probably making our way back home after an exciting early morning of ritual summonings and various exciting activities for various cults and things that are paying for her services.
Okay. You do arrive back home and kind of go in through the rooftop access that leads to the area that you use as a lab, I believe it was, yes?
Yes, the top side of the coffee house being converted. Every area covered in arcane scrawlings and magical circles. The room itself dominated by very little that looks like actual things you'd have to live with. There might be a small selection of rags and straw on the floor, which operate as a bed. But there'll be a peculiar large slab in the centre of the room, almost sort of sarcophagus-like, with of odd bags of peculiarly, well, I say blood. It doesn't normally glow that sort of colour into it. She'll go in and with a good throw, taking off her hat, landing it somewhere on the floor, and tussling her horrifically long and messy hair before shouting out, "Everyone, I'm back!"
About
Excellent.
time. You're kind of late.
Witches, you know how it goes. I like this sort of thing.
Which
miss
is
her.
how it goes. I get it. Very funny.
And I think at that point, our camera is going to swing down to the bottom of the stairs, where it sounds like A.U. Uxley is standing, considering they just heard Dash.
Yeah. It's going to take me a while to settle into the correct voice, but I think this is roughly it. Yeah, my name's Arthur Uxley, or AU, you know. Gold on account of my winning smile that you can see in the bottom left of the screen there. I still am a bit of a wheeler dealer, a bit of a geezer, a bit of a salesman. Always in the pursuit of that coin. After all, you can't sleep and keep rent on kindness alone, you know what I mean? But a little while ago, I flew a little bit too close to the sun in terms of acquiring that gold. Had a chat with the demon, and when I asked for riches, had some side effects. But at least I can blind people with my dazzling smile these days. I am the main kind of I guess the fancy term is barista, I suppose, and also a little bit of a music head on the side. I got a bit of a side hustle, but I'm sure we'll get into that later.
I was actually going to mention, now that your show is over for the evening, one of the secondary baristas, the assistants to the assistants, the low-level people that deal with these sorts of things, is adjusting the radio that is on the or that is behind the coffee shop counter. So if you'll give me a moment just to tune into that briefly, that there might be something interesting for you to hear.
Mm-hmm.
For the next bit of tea tonight, Reen's Hound Race Track and Night Market has been engaged for a private event, with invitations apparently going out to a select few of the movers and shakers of Duskfall. I've been told to advise my listeners who weren't invited to steer clear of the area because of the organizers' wish to remain unseen. Isn't that interesting?
Her again.
Never mind, you'll topple one day, I'm sure.
And catching that glance of disdain from you, the assistant quickly switches over to a different station, tuning into some of this newfangled jazz stuff that has taken the coffee shops by storm. And Yes, indeed, that was Tea Time with Aunt Angie, one of the most notorious but impossible to get off the air radio hosts of, or I should say, Electrovox hosts, excuse me, that seems to fill any empty space in the broadcast spectrum.
She's pervasive, but I'm sure we'll top her one day. Ain't that right, Fish?
I do not like her.
Yeah, I know. But still, it means that we have all the more reason to get to the top of the charts, you know what I'm saying?
Ambition. Good. We shall use it.
So, Fish, since you're here now as well, would you like to describe yourself and what you've been up to recently?
Oh, yeah, so, my character is a completely normal-looking, human-esque, complete with clothing and skin and teeth. Lots of teeth. Got a, cattail, sort of like a catfish-style mustache that isn't tentacles, but is actual, just a very sturdy length of hairs. Wearing a cute little hat, wearing cute little trench coat, concerned with fashion and the like. Introducing the character that I will play, Fish. The apothecary, the venomer, healer, poisoner, drugger, hustler, bootlegger, brewer of the crew. All these epithets that have to do with concoctions and the like, because addictions. According to Fish, addiction is the purest form of humanity.
So, the supplier for the Golden Hour's side menu, shall we say?
Only to the people who can pronounce her name wrong. Her name right.
I'm sure there would be plenty who could pronounce it wrong.
Oh yes, since if we look at her business card, it does say GHOTI.
Well, I think that clearly spells fish.
That does spell fish, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, for our main part of the four-person crew, walking in behind two of the lower-level crew members that he took out with him on what should have been an easy errand, is Bosk, who comes into the Golden Hour holding a sealed envelope.
Yeah.
Introduce yourself, yes.
Yes, Bosk looks like almost an assortment of punching bags come to life. Just a very thick, brawny guy, wearing a pea coat with a popped-up collar, almost trying to make himself not distinct from the world around him. Like, if you looked at him, you could see things like, probably a black eye, broken nose, but trying to just hide most of that if he can. As he walks in, I will say that to anyone who doesn't know him, he probably just looks semi-angry, maybe just kind of mean, to be avoided. To you three, I think you would understand that while those other things might be slightly true, it is probably more that he is concerned about something.
Ash immediately springing on the fact that a colleague is looking a little bit, I'd say, under the weather or something in his mind, will be rummaging through the myriad of pockets she's got in her poncho and smile slightly in her teeth and hold up the remains of half a sandwich and proffer. Managed to get this on the way across the mountains. Mountains. Across the city tops. I think it's pork.
What? No.
It's like Dash probably coming up about to, I think, Basque's about stomach height, I suspect, in size difference. Quite discerning.
Is that with or without the hat?
Probably without the hat. I think I just left it upstairs. I'll have to go re-grab it before we go out. Professionalism.
Mm-hmm.
Bats will guide everyone together real quick and go, first, job went well. We have a new client. It's good.
Wow. Congratulations on a winning visit. I know that dealing with the customer service side of things ain't exactly something you're a fan of doing, so thank you for going the extra mile.
Satisfactory ordeal, little manager.
Right. Yeah. Do we have a bottle hidden under the counter?
Oh,
I've got.
absolutely. And because it's on my character sheet and it's something that I can tick at any time, I tick the item in my inventory that is fine bottle of whiskey, and Arthur absolutely does pull a bottle of whiskey out from behind the counter.
Fabulous for that Irish coffee.
I think he does make that for himself, but pours like a neat one. Bask does not care for ice.
That would be correct.
Lowball glass of just whiskey and nothing else given to Bask. Arthur looks at Fish and does a bit of a mental flashback to if he's ever seen Fish drink alcohol before.
You've heard Fish quote various poems about the joys of regular inebriation, but you've never actually seen them imbibe anything.
Arthur pours half a shot just for the aroma for Fish. And Dashia, do you do you notice that Arthur's pouring drinks, or
He probably has to be paying a little bit of attention, but almost in that sort of scolded way of after the last time she was drinking and the party decided this was never allowed to happen again.
yeah. I don't think I don't know whether it's necessarily clear Dashia's official age, even though you're 5 foot nothing.
So she's actually, I think age-wise, we're talking sort of actually probably late teens, early 20s, but probably the looks quite a bit younger and smaller just due to the fact that
And
she's grown up
the
on the
nautical
streets.
drinking age, as we know, is 13 and a half. So
Yeah, I think
It's cleaner than the
Arthur.
water.
I think Arthur very specifically and jokingly, so it's like it's with a smile rather with a stern reprimand. Says to Dashia, "I'm afraid you're too young," and puts the bottle back underneath the counter.
We had a sort of pout for a moment, looking at.
Hey, not everybody can age as gracefully as you.
So the second the drink is placed in front of Bask, it is gone. Just all in one shot, disappeared, and empty glasses back on the counter.
Water everywhere, and not a drop to drink.
Well, he does drink like a fish.
They give you a look and put the glass up to their lips and just put it back. It is unclear whether they sipped it or not.
So you had a additional. Sorry, I should. We need to get down to business, I suppose. I just had a very good, Electrovox session, so I'm kind of riding the high, you know. But yeah. Tell me, what's the news? What's the deal?
Goldie, as I was coming back, this was handed to me, and he slides the unopened letter to you.
Arthur takes the letter, and I think just generally inspects it, like even a kind of like light sniff for any kind of particular perfumes or whether it stinks of cigarettes before he opens it.
The envelope that you are handed is a natural vellum sort of envelope, very posh, very high quality, natural watermarking sort of thing in its preparation, and sealed with a black wax seal that has the faint indent of a rook chess piece on it. The smell is tangy, almost like that of tanned leather. as well as just a snifter, like a sniff of brandy to it as well.
Well, Arthur says, smiling with the kind of gold of his teeth illuminating the room slightly. This thing is definitely money. Gosh, it would be almost a shame to open the thing, he says, pulling out a not gold, but gold-coloured letter opener.
Right.
With
Eyes
a
shining. Eyes shining, probably in a very similar colour to the opener. I should be hopping from one foot to the other. Stop holding us in suspense. Let's see what it is. Let's see what it is.
All right. A dexterous, experienced kind of smooth cut along the top as the paper kind of like falls out onto the barista bar top, and we open it.
And you receive this letter. Would you like me to read it, or would one of you?
If you wouldn't mind reading it, please.
Sure thing. To the representatives of Smile the Widest, the Unseen have recently become aware of your group's successful ventures in the area of medicinal supply and decoction. With regards to this advancement, we wish to invite you to an upcoming meeting of the minds to discuss the future of Duskfall. Send 4 members of your crew to Vreen's Hound Racetrack in Night Market this evening at 12:30 tomorrow. Be aware that others have received similar invitations. The Tower.
Oh my.
And the stamped seal on this as well is the same look as the one that was actually keeping the envelope closed.
Mm-hmm.
And as up-and-coming members of Duskfall's underground, less than legal element, shall we say, you would recognize this symbol as that of the leader of the Unseen himself, known simply as the Tower.
I would like to lick the ink that the sigil, or the wax that the sigil is made out of, and taste how valuable it is. Is this expensive shit?
I feel like I need to have you roll something about this.
Well, that feels like a
Sounds
study
good.
roll, right?
Yeah, let's roll something about it.
I would love for the first roll of this campaign to be lick ink. Okay, so that would be a study roll, and this is a great opportunity. Yeah, and it was a great opportunity to show off the system that Blades in the Dark use. So, what is my position, dear GM?
Oh, this is a controlled position. Let's see. Let me think about what effect you'll have on this. I think this is going to be a standard effect, so we'll go controlled standard. You're not in immediate danger as far as you know, so let's see how this goes.
Sounds good. So I'm going to use roll 20 for this. Thank God it has that. Oh my goodness.
Ooh.
That's a horrible roll.
We take the highest result, and it's 4 and 5 is a mixed success, and 6 is a full success. So 1 through 3s are failures, with your highest roll being a 3, unfortunately.
So,
Can
unfortunately...
Can I have a suggestion?
Sure.
Fish looks everyone in the eye very gravely, just has 1 second of eye contact with each member of the crew, and then goes, "I am allergic."
Delightful.
Oh no.
All right, so does Fish have something to deal with this, being the party's healer, for lack of a more appropriate term, or does somebody else want to try and help with this?
I mean, nobody knows your physiology better than you, I would say.
That's true, but I think there's like a little, actually, yeah.
Before I go into shock, would anyone like to attempt to address my medical situation, since we share bodies and body types, after all? No? Okay, I will be in my office.
Oh no,
Arthur,
no, no! I'll absolutely assist. Says Dan, who's got the look of somebody like a mad vivisectionist, looking like this might be a golden opportunity.
All right, yeah.
Okay. This is definitely going to be another rolling situation. I think we're going to go with risky and again standard.
Yeah.
So what would you like to roll about it?
Ooh, that is a good question. Probably study, I'd say, for racking a knowledge of relatively encyclopedic knowledge of humans.
Mhm.
Sure.
So-
Would you like to do anything to try to up your chances? I see you've only got 1 pip in study.
Oh,
Yeah.
I can actually assist with that. I have the ability Physiker, which means that everyone in your crew gets +1d to their healing treatment rolls.
Okay.
They get a
Okay.
bonus die.
Nice.
Um,
Is there? Sorry,
No,
mechanical
go
question.
for it.
Should I just roll it twice, effectively, or just add the pip onto the?
You would add an additional die to your roll,
Hmm.
and I was also going to see if you wanted to take a devil's bargain to get a third die on that, perhaps.
Ooh, what? I think I might actually take you up on that offer.
Okay. Do you want to hear what the devil's bargain is before you take the yes or no? Or...
You
That seems
probably
very
wanna
out of
hear
character.
it first.
Seems very out of character. No, absolutely. Let's hear what the that devil's bargain is before I blindly walk in and accept.
Fair enough. I think the devil's bargain here is that at least one non-associated customer, somebody who is not part of your crew, will catch that something might be off about fish.
I trust. Don't really care for the opinions of people who aren't my immediate circle of friends. So I should be far more interested in seeing what she can do to assist.
Okay.
Friend.
Yeah,
Go
yeah.
ahead and take your third die then.
Fish's
Uh,
voice echoes in your head.
Remember, I'm human, and anyone who asks, I'm human.
Mhm.
I know. I know. Which of your hearts is it bothering most? Let's have a look. Risky and. Oh,
It's the distal throat that itches.
gotcha. The effect standard, I assume.
Correct.
Okay. Oh, no, I see how this works now. Right. Sorry.
It gives you a lot of options for each roll.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. Standard. Yeah. Sorry, I wasn't expecting the bonus dice thing at the end.
Yeah,
There we
sonic
go.
content for each roll.
Ooh, very good.
Hmm.
Sick. I'm saved.
Oh yeah, 5, 1, and a 5. You are golden, my friend. But that being said, there is a bit of a consequence thanks to that devil's bargain. There are a couple of people who were, thankfully for them, seated up near closer to the front of the golden hour. Not at the good tables, not the plush leather seating in the back, but at the hardwood near the front. Who see what's going on, and you hear a couple of whispers from one of them saying, I don't think that guy has ears. Is that... Are people normally supposed to be that color? Oh, you can't just ask what color people are supposed to be normally. I just... and that
Who hears
awkward
that?
conversation of... you do hear that, and you see them standing to make their way out past your maitre d', who I didn't get the chance to describe earlier, but if you'd like to try to say something to them before they reach there, please feel free.
No, I would like to make a mental note of these how these two look because being the human that fish is, they do not abide by racism.
Yeah, fair enough. It's a good
Only
people
presumably
too.
then mildly distracted by Das announcing, "Don't worry, I know the Heimlich maneuver."
All right. So, adding a couple of customers to the no-go list, then, as they make their way out past your maitre d' Cesare, who I will go ahead and introduce now, since I didn't get the chance to do this earlier. Let me get to my notes about them.
How is that name spelled, first of all?
Cesare, Cheserex. This is
Ooh.
a mononym. He is a Taikarosi man who has curling ram-like horns and is far too thin. Always dressed in a full tuxedo, tailcoat, and white gloves included. You've never seen him not dressed as such. He was introduced to you dressed that way, and has always been so. And has always, every time you've been in the golden hour, he's always been standing behind his little short desk that has kept there at the front for reservations and appointments for Mr. Smile. The other slightly more off-putting thing about him is that he also always wears a somewhat marred yellow full face mask that features a broad, cartoonish smile and black, quote-unquote, cheerful eyes. He kind of does the general bow and waving of a hand to those who are leaving before sliding over to you all and says, welcome back, Bask. How was your adventure this evening?
Fine. Great. Fantastic. Went well.
Excellent. I'm glad to hear. I will report to Mr. Smile immediately. As for the rest of you, is there anything that we can do for you for the rest of the evening, or will you be going about your own business?
If you wouldn't mind, why don't you help close up shop about an hour earlier than normal? We weren't planning to arrange any shindigs in the back this evening, so it shouldn't harm our sales too much. But we have to make sure that we're dressed right for the function this evening. And I wouldn't want anybody to be disturbed while changing.
Very well. I will do so. And he kind of claps twice, and several of the employees, the lower level crew members, ultimately, immediately know what that signal means and switch up what they're doing from the regular operation to beginning to pack things away and just generally act in that way that restaurant employees do when they want customers who are sitting around to kind of get the gentle idea that now might be a time to finish up what they're discussing in their food and make their way home.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I will be back at the reservation desk. If you need anything, please let me know. And he bows to you as well and backs up and slides, and in that sort of way that the most experienced servants never quite seem to be walking. They just sort of exit the area around you.
They just tween off camera.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
You notice their absence, not their leaving. I think Fish asks Uxley,
Aoi, are we going to dress up for this event?
I would say that considering the delightful people that have invited us, making sure that we're looking at our best is mandatory. I am in a position to assist anybody who doesn't necessarily have fineries with them, but I'm not going to possibly say that I should prescribe your sense in fashion.
Would you say this is more of a social intelligence communicating event, or more of an event where you want people to be envious of you?
Arthur pauses. This is our chance to make a really good impression, I think would probably be the best way to describe this one. Sorry, it's not one of those two binary categories, but very few things in life are.
Such as human, I suppose. Don't suppose. No, I know these things.
Arthur is like, you're getting better at it every time, mate.
I happen to have a couple of dresses that I can choose from. Excuse me.
and Fish gracefully exits the room.
Mm-hmm. So, Bask, what are you thinking on wearing for this then?
This is my best coat.
Oh boy.
I'm with Bask on this. I'm wearing my best. There's Dash in her oilskin cloak and rags, literal rags and bandages. In fact, probably to the point where the only parts of her skin that are actually visible will be sort of above the neckline and just the fingertips.
Bats will probably just like button an extra button on it, like there.
All right.
Fancy.
Let's see. Arthur massaging his temples slightly. Let's see. And goes into the back, to which the camera kind of gets a shot of the kind of like back room, the dance hall, in the golden hour. And moving through the entirely empty wooden floors and the kind of podium at the back. The acoustics set up as such, where the newest and strangest in improvisational music activities are performed, and into the kind of green room in the back. Andromeda did leave a lot of her stuff here last time. Let's see if we can find anything useful for these two. Which I am happy to make a roll for. To see how appropriate.
Okay.
Not necessarily. I think we
Let's,
find something, but the role kind of is like how good it is for the people that we're giving it
Yeah,
to. Maybe.
yeah, I'd agree with that. Okay, so we're gonna go with controlled, and since this is show material and you're planning to make a show of it, we'll go controlled great effect. So you've got decent odds here.
Unfortunately, I think we're while playing by the strict definitions of what these moves are. I don't actually have any points in survey. So what I will do is push myself because Arthur. Oh yeah, Arthur does not want to fuck this up at the first hurdle.
That's true.
This is actually kind of important. So yeah, he's gonna take 2 stress to very desperately see if you can find anything, even if it's makeup and not just clothes, that would be useful for both Dash's and Bask's situation.
Dash will have looked at Bask and said, "If he comes out with a dress, you're wearing it. I'm not."
I don't think it would look good on me. And while this is happening, Bask will go back behind the counter and look for that bottle again, and also the shot glass that Fish did not drink, he will put in front of Dash.
There'll be this sort of flashback to maniacal laughter on a rooftop and lots of fire. No, not this time. Not this time, she'll say.
Fine. Look, knowing who these people who've invited us are, maybe being a little loose would be good, but all right, and he'll down the shot.
Dash will probably be scavenging the envelope, which I'm going to guess Fish probably dropped after the toxic shock syndrome thing, and sort of almost like running her fingers across it, noting the quality of the vellum, and will immediately start drawing a magic circle on it, but probably leave a couple of flecks incomplete, so it can be finished at a quick notice before it disappears into one of her many pockets.
Just to check, position risky, effect standard, did you say?
No, I think, well, you know what? Actually, the position should be risky, I think, in this case, because Bosk is not exactly an easy person to clean up. And Dasha is, well, you know, it's possible, seems to be a bit resistant to it. So we'll go risky great, actually.
Okay.
So if you pull this off, fantastic.
If we pull this off,
we
have 1 bonus dice. Does it? I forget whether I get another input value for Devil's Bargains or not.
So yes, a Devil's Bargain will give you an additional die for accepting.
I'm open to one. I'm open to one for this roll.
Let's see.
Okay. I have a Devil's Bargain I can offer you.
Toss it out.
For an extra die, there will be someone who is wearing the exact same thing as Arthur.
That is great. That is very good, especially because of the outfit I've already mentally prepared for Arthur. I will take that.
Okay, all right. Let me make a note of that then.
So just to double check for the people who have rolled already, is there a separate tab after I hit submit after bonus dice, or am I giving myself 2 bonus dice?
Bonus dice is the last one, if I remember
Okay,
rightly.
thank you. Huh. 5! Hell yeah!
Hey!
We
Go on.
needed that. We needed that. Mixed success. Is it only 6 for full successes? I forget. This is
Yeah.
already me being bad at
Yes,
this.
6 for
Okay.
full successes. More than one 6 gives you a critical, and I believe there is an extra situation where if you get more than one 1,
Yes, it's critical
and no
failure.
successes, it's a critical failure, and that's where it gets interesting.
Oh yeah.
But in this case, no, you've succeeded, and it was risky. So I think that on top of the consequence that comes with the Devil's Bargain automatically, in this case, ooh, I think that you've picked out the perfect dress for Dash.
And what it is that Andromeda actually has a bit of a Josephine Baker kind of energy going, I think. Oh, did I just break my own character sheet? God, we'll resolve that later. So while the cut of it is quite femme, it has the kind of like long flared pant legs where if you were standing still, it might look like a maxi dress. And then if you actually moved in it, then you'd realize it's separate pant legs, but it definitely has a femme flowy quality to it. Easily rolled up and pinned to be the right size for Dash's height. And for Basque, let's see. I think this is it is supposed to be what was supposed to be a really, really baggy kind of blouse. With the kind of like the hanging in the sleeves where it would like pool into a teardrop shape. But obviously on Basque's form, it fits very snug. And in fact, it would sit snug with the top 3 buttons open, so we get chest. I think that so with minor pinnings and adjustments, Arthur brings both of these items back out.
You're going to look very fetching in that dress, Basque, says Dash.
No. It's not a dress. It's not a dress. Individual legs, you see, and he like wiggles one leg in each hand to make it very clear, even though it is. I know it's definitely on. I know it's definitely a little bit on the femme side, but to be honest, it's better than nothing. And at the very least, you can keep your bandages on underneath and everything. So we're not going to ask you to show off more skin than you're comfortable.
All right, but I'm not washing my hair, she'll say. And it's sort of like she's striking a high-end bargain
Can
at
you
this
at
point.
least put it in this hair tie? Oh god, I'm going to need at least 3 hair ties for that, actually.
Fine. Right. I'll behave.
Arthur kind of like whistles for one of the sub baristas, a lady, to like, would you mind assisting Dashia getting changed?
One of the little sub baristas by the name of Hocus Pocus comes over. She says, "Okay," and scuttles off to help Dash.
I love her already. My name.
Dash will look mournfully at the empty glass of rum now she's forcing this potential flash forward where it's the identical scene of everything on fire and her laughing maniacally, but now in this outfit.
God, I hope they're not serving wine at this thing. Do we jump to like us entering the main lobby of the cafe again in our outfits? I think. Like we change up camera and snap to.
I think we could do that. Yeah, because at this point we've got a couple of options. If there's some things that you want to take care of first, such as doing some previous investigations and the like, we can do that, or we could just set up what is essentially the next section of this, the actual job, as it were.
I would be very interested to see if there's like more potential buyers for the side menu at this event. But that would imply like knowing who else got invited.
Okay. So we may want to go ask around, and essentially how this is going to work. What I'm in this section that I'm referring to tonight as taking care of business, is each of you is going to get to do sort of one action as kind of our downtime section before we move to the actual job. So you want to kind of investigate, ask around as to who might have gotten an invite for this. Does anybody else have something in particular they want to do, or you might want to add to that investigation?
I think for simplicity, and probably not trying to get, I think Dash will probably be spending a lot of time trying to get this, it being pinned down, presumably by several of the helpers, trying to get her into this outfit and working out how to do makeup.
As a point of order, even though the outfit is probably not something you would find ideal, they're not going to force you to do something that you would actively find miserable.
No.
You are
It'll
a
be
family
fine.
member as well as a member of the gang, so they'll treat you reasonably nicely, even if you don't like your hair being brushed.
Okay, so we've got Fish wanting to do an investigation, Dash struggling to get gussied up, as it were.
Bass would probably want to help Fish just by being like an intimidating presence behind him, just in case.
Nice.
There's a specific mechanic for helping people out to improve their roles, so that's totally a thing you can do.
Plus a couple of other things that we'll be doing once I've got your answer as well, AU.
I think AU is going to, let's see. They are I think they're while we're not like handling specifically the items in our load, but he is kind of like goes up to the kind of Electrovox studio and pulls out a set of kind of like small partially filled in business cards. It's always nice to have a business card that's not fully filled in with information, so it means you can add in the information you specifically want. A tip for people in general: don't put your phone number on a business card. Write it down when it's actually necessary for the people who need it. But yeah, he starts filling in a couple of business cards, and he wants to do it nicely to try and, you know, when he hands it over, it's got to be impressive.
Okay, so we will deal with that paperwork in a moment then. Actually, you know what? That's probably going to be the simplest one for us to resolve. So let's start with that then. Let's see. I feel like you should roll something about that.
Yeah, that would be a finesse, I think.
Okay, I'd agree with that.
Again, a thing that I have no pips in. I've built a character that is not the kind of character I normally play, and I've already sabotaged myself. But we're good.
Delightful.
Give me the what's the risky level?
Yeah, we are going to go ahead and go risky standard on this. So, just to kind of, I don't think we have actually mentioned how this works. We've got two things essentially. The first half of this sort of defines what stuff might happen to you, whereas the second half of this defines what you will actually accomplish. So in this case, risky is it's something bad might happen, and you'll have standard effect, meaning you'll get the effect that you expect to get under a normal circumstance. So go ahead and roll them dice, and unfortunately, because you have 0 pips in finesse, nobody is helping you. Let's roll 2 and take the lowest.
Oh no!
And I did get a 6 in that too, rip. Oh well, yeah. This is to be expected. So with a 2 as my result, I fail.
I've always imagined like these rolls is like the highest number is how you think it goes, and 2 is how it actually goes.
So I think the complication here is that.
Are they just genuinely shit? Like Arthur's like, I think I did a good job. And the moment I see another business card, he just cries on the inside.
Here's the thing. I'm actually going to say that you succeed, and that is the complication. And that will become meaningful later.
Let's
Nice.
take a look at Arthur Uxley's card. God. Even got a watermark.
That is
Okay.
still my favorite scene in that movie. Anyway,
Oh, yeah.
moving on.
Okay, so with that done, and I think Dash's situation is a bit out of her hands, unless there is something you want to roll about it.
I don't think so. I think the only thing that she'll be trying to maybe acquire in the Lost and Found, some sort of handbag, which is no doubt going to be stuffed with all sorts of interesting arcane paraphernalia that she'll take to the party.
Okay, and we'll deal with everybody's loadout once we get past this sort of taking care of business section.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Fish and Bosk, I would like both of you to pick somebody off of your associates list to contact to try and find this information out.
Let's see. I would like to contact. So with associates, you mean the people I have a relationship with, like my rivals and my friends?
That is correct.
Okay. I want to contact Aunt Angie.
Really?
I
Okay.
want to.
God.
I've got new product for her. She might like.
I would want to reach out to Puck Spellin because I have spent many a time in their establishment.
Okay, so let's deal with Aunt Angie first. I'm not going to define exactly where in the city she is at the moment, but she would be on your way to this event.
Yeah.
So you stop in at her, we'll call it a brownstone. It's styled as if it were a manor, because she is a rather elderly woman who was at one point considered kind of the local recluse until she started doing these broadcasts and is now much better known all over the city. And so you stop in at this rather refined small brownstone where she lives by herself. You knock a couple of times and then remember her age and how long it takes her to descend the stairs to the front door. And you wait a few minutes. And you hear kind of in the distance, and you wait a few more minutes, and eventually you hear the cover on the peephole kind of creak open, and then slam shut as much as a small little cover for a peephole can slam shut.
Yeah.
And yeah, go for it.
Comtessa Angelina, I have come with a parley to apologize for the day I ruined your life.
And there's a couple seconds of contemplative silence before the door opens a crack, and she says, "Yeah, well, state your business then." And
Do
kind
you... Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna kind of describe the little sliver of face that you see as kind of the sort of shrunken prune of a person who is in their 90s and has lost basically all body fat and is behind sort of a pair of half-inch thick, what we would call Coke bottle glasses in the real world. Not sure there is such a thing as cola in this world, but we'll kind of decide upon that as we go, I guess.
Cocaine. Just cocaine, liquid cocaine.
I mean, yeah, you know.
So Fish goes,
My mistake last time was supplying you with a powder that enhances the material connection between throat and voice to emphasize the communication to bring yourself into the world, but I did not understand fully what it means to be Electro Fox DJ. I have created a new kind of experience to sever that which is real and which is ghosts, the electric and the spiritual. Would you like a baggie?
Always up for new things and new experiences. What is the catch, though? And she says in kind of her voice getting stronger than one might have expected in a moment.
I would like for you to remove or adjust your daily shout out to my apothecary where you say that it is subpar and a den of scamming.
We shall see, depending on the potency of this. What have you decided to call this batch?
The name in progress is Void Ash. You may also call it Fun Dust, or Voice Time, or perhaps Aunt Angie's special hour.
Needs more workshopping, but I suppose that's the case with new inventions. Are you holding out the bag of dust, or is this something you have yet to produce?
Oh yeah, I grab it from underneath. I lift my head for a split second, which you of course see just like all the human characteristics of what would be on a head, and
Normal.
then
She
yeah,
doesn't
and
bat
then
an eyelash, by the way.
oh, and that's part of the reason why Fish likes her so much, but also
Mhm.
secretly hates her. And yeah, she and they hold out the baggie.
Okay. Uh, she takes the baggie and, gingerly just kind of picks it up, but then with the other hand, uh, does that thing that the elderly of a sufficient age seem to be able to do, and grabs your wrist with the other hand, and it feels like your wrist has been clamped in iron, where you know deep down that even if you were to try and pull back, you would not be able to get that hand away from her until
Yeah,
she lets go.
my hand would pop off.
Yep. She says, and if this results in something like what happened last time, you'll be hearing from my friends. Yes? And she kind of
Clear. I love friends.
good. I love friends too. And she releases your wrist, and unless you stop her, she's gonna close the door.
Uh, Actually, yeah, I would also like pose a question.
Comtessa Angelina, I have received an invitation to partake of a party at the tower. Will I see you there?
Oh, I can't be seen out and about. You know how these things are. But I will have my eyes and my ears there, yes. Always watching, always listening, always looking for more tea to spill.
Lovely. May you have a good time with that good shit. So long.
Have a lovely evening. And I guess that's where she's gonna close her door. And there we
Yeah.
are.
I've actually written down a couple of potential effects that Void Ash induces, uh, which is derealization, uh, visions of a corporate future, uh, incredible grasp at color theory, having no sense of left or right, and what I've written down as postcoital voice.
Oh, delightful. Wonderful. Oh, that's going to be fun.
Good God. Hmm.
Yeah,
Sorry,
so
it's been very difficult to keep quiet during that entire scene. Fun dust.
I'm glad you like it. Yeah, no, so Void Ash, the hottest new product on the Duskfall markets.
We'll see how that turns out for you.
Thank you, Nathan, for allowing Coidal.
I give the listeners what they want. Anyway.
Uh,
All right, so Bosk, let's who are you? Who is it that you were going to go see again?
Puck's Bolin. They run a place called the Harping Monkey. Usually, it's the drinking establishment that Bask has
Okay.
favored in the past.
Okay. Do you have a description you want to give Pucks, or do you want me to kind of pull something out of my holster?
It's your world right now. Go for it.
You said this was called the Harping Monkey. Okay, so
Mhm.
you head over to your normal, regular drinking establishment, and whereas the Golden Hour has that sort of refined dark wood and brass look to it, the Monkey has a combination of drinking establishment and that old cigar shop smell and look to it, where everything at one time was a highly polished, highly oiled surface, but has since kind of been infused with that feeling of smoke and age. And it's like walking into a gigantic cigar box. And Pucks is behind the short little bar that stands in front of the display cabinet that proudly shows off all of the various smokables and drinkables that are at the top shelf, while all of the things that you regularly purchase because they're cheap are actually sort of under the countertop. And I think that every table in this place is a standing table instead of being somewhere to sit. And sort of a burly man, but nowhere near your level of stature, and has always been a little bit resentful of you about it. Uh, just because he's used to being the biggest person in a place, and then here you come, outdoing him without even trying. And he says, "Hey, what's up, Bosk? How you doing tonight? Just
Um,
yeah,
busy night, Bolin.
at least someone's having one."
Yeah. Uh, I need to know. The tower's running a get together tonight. So, wonder if you heard anything about that. Who might also be invited, or what might be going on.
I heard about that on Antangi's broadcast. I started to put two and two together on a few things, if you know what I mean. But it's been a while since you've been in here. You here to buy something, or just yammer at me?
I mean, I feel like I've bought a lot, but I see how it is. And Bosk will reach into his pocket and bring out whatever a little bit of coin he has and just kind of slide it over to him.
Okay. He will kind of look at what you've got and make a little bit of an adjustment to himself. Bring up a selection of mid-tier whiskeys. Just kind of what do they call that? A fleet of tasters, I think it is,
Mm-hmm.
along those lines. Um, and as you drink, give me just a second to pull up some notes.
And while
Sorry.
you're doing that, I will also say that Bosk will probably share the fleet with Bolin. So, like, he'll take one, put one in front of him, that kind of thing.
Okay. Lovely. Well, I mean, you got the normals, you got the bill hooks. I've heard the cabbies are going to get involved. Same with the gondoliers and the ink rakes, all that sort of fun stuff. You know, the people who do for others and help the wheels move. And he downs his next shot before continuing. Dimmer Sisters apparently got invited. Don't know if they'll actually show up this time of night, but you know, they never leave their manor, so who knows. One that probably will be of interest to you. I've heard that the Foghounds are going to be there, and I know that you two have, you two share some turf, don't you, I think, right? So should be on friendly terms with them, yeah? Yeah? It kind of gives you that knowing grin of, oh, I've got my finger on the pulse of things, I know how things work.
Yeah, we're the best of friends.
Yeah, I thought so. Let's see. Anybody else I heard about? Anybody else? Well, I mean, who can expect it? But, you know, I'm sure you know to keep your eye out for any sort of undercover bluecoats and inspectors that like. But, heard some grumblings from one customer that apparently the Hive have been excluded. You know, who knows whether that's going to be good for business or bad, but, you know, that's as may be. And he drinks the third shot. If you'd like to know more about any of these groups of people, feel free to roll something about it to try to figure out how much knowledge Bask has about the general goings-on of the criminal underworld.
Oof. I mean, sure. Like, I don't think he will know a lot aside from whoever is directly in front of him, but doesn't hurt to try, right?
It never hurts to try.
He said, knowing full well it might hurt to try. What kind of role do you think it'd be?
I think we are in a controlled situation, but at the same time, Bosk does not seem like the kind of person who really knows a lot about a lot. So I think we're going to have lesser effect here.
Okay, what stat?
That is up to you, my friend. That is one of the glorious things about Blades in the Darks. I can call for a roll sometimes if I feel one is necessary, but you tell me what you're rolling about it, and then we figure out together how that applies to a situation.
Be like a consort roll. Study.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you want some suggestions, I think consort would be a good one. Command maybe if you were trying to be threatening, but this guy seems like your friend, so that's probably not exactly a great thing to do to him. Maybe a study. Yeah, I could see study working.
I mean, if let me go study, I can do study. Okay, and let me get the right thing. And what was the position again?
So position is controlled. Now here's the thing. You've only got one pip in study.
This is true.
You could push yourself, really strain the noggin to try and gain an extra die from that, and take a couple of stress to get it. Or you might ask for a devil's bargain, which could also give you an extra die, but at a guaranteed consequence.
I'm not gonna do that right now. I don't think. I believe Boss would trust that his cohorts would have more knowledge on the subject. So he's going to try and think about like what he might know, but more importantly, he'll try and just like think of the names and bring those back.
Okay. All right. So go ahead and roll that study for me then.
So it's controlled position, standard effect.
Limited effect.
Thank you. Okay. No bonus die. Hey.
Hey,
Nice.
number 5. Okay, so for limited effect, I would say pick one group. Well, no, I dropped a lot of names, so pick a couple of groups that you'd like to know more about.
It was what was the fog one? The ones that we're super best friends with.
The Foghounds, I will give you information about for free because of things that have already happened with your character in the session 0 that we played to get me used to this system.
So tell me about the Hive, because it's interesting that they're not invited in the shindig that has everyone.
So the Hive in particular is somebody that you would know about in this case because of the fact that your group runs this coffee shop, the Golden Hour. The Hive are they are a crew in name, but they are more of an association of business people, merchants, traders, those sorts, who have vested interests in specific businesses and the flow of the market here in Duskfall. And they are a crew de facto because they operate in many of the same ways that a standard gang would. They lean on non-member merchants. They make sure that supplies get where they need to go for the right price, that sort of a thing. And yes, indeed, the fact that they have not been invited to this is a rather large snub by the unseen.
Cool, 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 cool. Who else got thrown around? Because it was a lot that you threw at me in a very short amount of time.
Yeah, that's good. Let's see. I talked about the bill hooks, the cabbies, the dimmer sister, the gondoliers, the ink rakes. Yeah.
Tell me about the Dimmer sisters.
So the dimmer sisters are a more occult-based crew. They are their upper level members are known for never leaving their headquarters, which is actually a manor in the same district that you're heading to this evening. So the fact that they got an invite may have been to try to draw them out. It may have been as a mere formality of, oh, well, you have a lot of influence, but we don't actually expect you to show up, but we have to invite you out of respect. Maybe a lot of things. But they are one of the more powerful occult members of Duskfall society. So Dash might be very interested in knowledge about the fact that they are, or at least their representatives will be there this evening.
Bunch of hacks.
Yeah, I think that'll be good. If there's any alcohol left, he will just leave it to Bolin to finish off and go, thank you, Bolin. Always appreciated, and then just excuse himself and make his way back to the Golden Hour.
All right, and Pux will nod to you and then throw back what's left and say, right, hope you have a good night. Thank you for your business.
Ooh. Really
That's
good
a smooth
information.
operator.
Yeah.
Stumbling
Stumbling
it's a
into
matter of-
success.
You just gotta know who to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
And he fights all the time. He knows how to look up, how to study people. That's one of his things that I gave him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. And I really like the way you applied that here and how you didn't try to sell drugs to elderly people.
It's such a
really
low
like
bar
that.
to clear.
Listen,
I really like that
I
in
am-
characters.
I am very excited to see if we visit Aunt Angie again in the future and what the
I
results
want to hear
of
her
that's gonna
next
be.
broadcast.
Okay.
To be fair, old people are wild, so that could have gone either way.
Yeah.
Oh, God, listen, living, not to dox myself, but living in Florida, you see some things with the snowbirds and, ooh.
The snowbirds, huh?
Yeah, the ones who come down from Canada for the winter.
Ah.
Yes. They're very
yeah.
migratory. They come down. They live in their beachside villas, alongside other migratory elderly, and that they might not see ever again, and have fun changing keys and stuff like that.
There's
Nice.
a reason why retirement homes have very almost annual STI outbreaks.
The things we've learned today. It's fun
Yeah.
because
Very educational.
yeah, two of the members of the Skyjacks podcast are also based in Florida. So next time I see them, I'm going to bring up that fact and horrify them that I now know things.
They'll probably just sigh and go, yeah.
Nice.
Okay, so I'm going to call that the end of our taking care of business section, and we will be moving on to our planning stage.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so in this section of Blades in the Dark, before we actually get to the proper engagement of the job itself, we choose a plan and supply some details. So, just from how this has been described, and it sounds like y'all would like to approach this as a social job.
Mm-hmm.
Building sort of a
Definitely.
social connection, negotiating, bargaining, persuading, schmoozing your way in. That sound about right to everybody?
Yeah, that
Absolutely.
Yep.
fits.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, let's see. It is, it's a bit of a party. That's what you're expecting to head into. So I think I'll go ahead and give you that this is your preferred type of hunting grounds. You are
Mm-hmm.
a very socially geared crew, so you'll be doing +1 die on gathering information, and well, we've already taken care of downtime activities, so
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't really matter here. And here is where everybody will be declaring their load for the mission and clearing out any pips you've already invested in your load.
Mm-hmm.
So, how are we going? Oh, to explain to the viewers out there at home, unlike a lot of tabletop games, the way that Blades in the Dark works is that generally the characters before a job will say, "Oh, I'm carrying a light load, or a standard load, or a heavy load," and that decides how much equipment they're carrying with them, without actually determining exactly what that equipment is right now, because of the very heist-esque ability to do flashbacks mid-scene and declare, "Oh yeah, I plan to bring this along with me for just this instance." So it kind of frees up the old backpack, as it were. So, what is everybody's load going to be for the evening?
Because of how form-fitting the dress is that Fish is wearing. She's actually not. She's going to be using a light load.
Mm-hmm. Same. There's not a lot of space to conceal items.
No
on
pockets. No pockets.
There.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
you
think
could give yourself a pocket. As this is a fantasy world, your dress can have pockets.
But I choose not to.
Fair enough. It's a dark
So-
fantasy.
Absolutely.
So
Dark
my-
fantasy. Women's pants. They have pockets, but they're all fake pockets. No.
So my main question is, Bask now has this nice fancy top. Would he still get to? Would AU let him wear his coat?
Yeah, I think we don't necessarily know what the season is at the moment. We've not done that kind of world building or whatever. But I mean, it feels that the city of Duskfall, regardless of the season, is probably kind of windswept in places, and he's not a jerk. He doesn't want you to.
I also feel that's how the city is just every day of the year. I don't know
Mhm.
why. Just feels like it.
Absolutely.
And there'll be a coat check if you get too warm, so you can take your
Yeah.
coat. It's fine.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
I
go
would
ahead.
agree that the city is very Chicago, or think Victorian London, with pea supers, wind, and just constant fog. But one other thing that I would like to remind everybody of is that since you are a Hawker's crew type, and you have in fact previously ascended and gained some upgrades, you do have the Hawker's rigging, which allows you to carry one item concealed and with no load, even if it is an item that would normally take up a section of your load. So just remember that. Keep that in mind. Keep it at the back of the old ticker. So, Karen, sorry. I just wanted
Yeah.
to
So
remind everybody.
given that, because I get to keep my coat, I'll probably just go for a normal load then, just because I'll be able to have a little bit more pockets to not worry about stuff.
And I think probably in a similar way as Fish and Arthur, the Dash will be operating on a light load. It'll be whatever, filling a bit out that she's missing all her normally dozens of pockets, and just having to settle for some sort of medium-sized handbag, which she'll have stuffed with things, possibly a brick.
You just clock
Delightful.
somebody with the handbag. I mean, if it comes to that, I'm holding you to the fact that you've got a brick in there. But
Queen's got a brick in a handbag.
That's the spare key. It's fine.
You know what? I love that as a name for the brick, is the spare key. All right. Then we will be moving along to our actual engagement. And now is the time where we're going to actually roll our engagement roll, in fact.
Yeah.
So we start with a base roll of 1 die. I've already given you +1 die for this being a preferred hunting ground, essentially. Let's see. Do we have any major advantages or disadvantages? Okay, so there's one disadvantage that I can't tell you about.
Okay.
So we're down to 1 die again. You've been invited, so that's +1 again.
Disadvantage: the social faux pas of Arthur having basically copied someone else's costume.
I don't think that's going to come in the fortune roll. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see where that comes along.
I'm
The
very excited
target
for somebody
is
to be
a
wearing
higher
specifically
tier.
what I'm wearing. Oh God,
But-
yeah, we're rolling with the big dogs on this one, huh?
But I don't think I'm going to punish you for that because you were specifically invited by those big dogs. So, yeah. Let's take a look at what the district looks like. If there's any modifiers based there.
Well, we get a new backdrop for that, huh?
Yes, we will be getting a new backdrop for that. Okay. I think I'll give you a bonus here because Night Market is kind of a place that you would normally sort of operate. So we're currently rolling 3 dice for the fortune roll. I think that ends
That's
up
very
nicely
good.
there. Oh yes. So we'll be somebody go ahead and roll that fortune roll, and we'll take the highest and see where that lands us.
Me. I want to go.
Go for it.
Okay, so fortune roll. Roll fortune. 3 dice. D'accord, here goes. Notes.
Oh, about what the fortune roll is for. I guess it's kind of like opening roll or something. 6!
That's a 6.
Yes!
Very good. Excellent. So you are going in with a controlled position. All right. So let me set some stuff up. And actually, since we are almost 2 hours into our stream, do we want to go ahead and take a bio break now? And then we'll move into
Yes,
our
we can
next
absolutely
section?
do that 5-minute break. Let me go
Okay.
and take us over here. Yes. I'll be having a delightful time, everybody. We're not going to be gone for long. We're only going to be gone for 5 minutes or so. This is an excellent opportunity for you to get up and take a stretch, hydrate yourself, take a mean piss, and I'll see you back in 5. Hello and welcome back to the inaugural session of Escape to the Void Sea. Send tweets saying that we're still live. Excellent. Excellent. I hope you've all had a good break as well. Thank you for hanging with us. I am having the time of my life right now. This session has been so much fun so far. But for those who are maybe just joining us, how about we go around the table and do a one-sentence description of a thing that happened last time on Escape to the Void Sea. Ruben, what happened last time on Escape to the Void Sea?
Sold drugs to the retirement home.
Captain, what happened last time on Escape to the Void Sea?
Charmed a bartender friend of his for information.
Tom, what happened last time on Escape to the Void Sea?
Oh my god, they're making me wear a dress.
Draco, what happened last time on Escape to the Void Sea?
The gang has been invited to a party where they will surely gain further status.
And what I think happened last time on the Void Sea, Escape to the Void Sea, is that 4 very dashing, very ordinary normal people are dressed up in some very fine outfits. And with that, let's get back to gameplay. Ooh, we have a new background.
And so, the four foremost members of Smile the Widest arrive in Night Market. It's a district dominated by commerce. Situated near Gaddock Rail Station, Night Market receives the bulk of saleable goods from the cargo trains that travel across the Imperium, bringing the exotic and rare to Duskwall. The citizens that call Night Market home constitute a new class of elites, wealthy people who are not of noble descent but nevertheless claim land, status, and power without the titles. The district has been taken over by new construction, introducing lavish private townhouses with all of the modern advances for the elites that can afford them. Electric lights in a riot of colors advertise the various market stalls of the vendors. Several devout acolytes bow in silent prayer to statues of the Night Queen, the district's adopted forgotten god, and the city's elite, hidden behind masks, slip into the underground to partake of strange pleasures in the private clubs situated below street level. So yes, this is Night Market, and the area is bouncing and hopping. Vreen's Hound Track is a part of the area, but you need not necessarily head there immediately. In fact, I think this is going to be the time when I get to introduce our very first clock.
Mm-hmm.
Gasp.
Oh no,
Exciting.
not the project clock.
Project Clocks, genuinely, well, this is being set up. The thing I really enjoy about both this and like the sprawl, it adds so much additional tension to the proceedings.
Oh yeah.
So
That's
I've
good.
set up a 4-section clock, just basic, until the meeting starts. You've arrived a little bit early, so you can kind of explore the area before heading into the hound racing track and being guided to the area that you need to be at. There are a number of other people here who you might interact with. In particular, you see there's a heightened presence of many of the various crews from across the city, all about the marketplace. And as a result, you can sort of tell that the blue coats are keeping a bit of distance because they know if there's a few crew members around, they've got the upper hand. But right now, they're probably not welcome.
I think Fish turns to Dash and asks,
Little witch, tell me, why do people love commerce so much, knowing it only sets them back?
Going to Dash, who's probably looking like she's doing the best fancy dress of a noble person that she could manage. The hair tied up and probably looking vaguely unrecognisable to her usual appearance. We'll ponder that for a moment and say, I don't know. People are always, certainly in my profession, people are always getting themselves into deals without reading the fine print. They feel they get some, I don't know, level of enjoyment about they think they're getting something over somebody when not realizing they're just chaining themselves down further.
Is that what enhances or what motivates people to do these sorts of illicit dealings? Is that why we do it?
Well, scratch your head slightly thinking about it. I think mostly do it for keep it getting. If you have more wealth, you get to keep your friends safe. She'll say, smiling somewhat innocently, which again probably looks quite weird with the very pointy teeth.
Oh, hold on, my voice changer. No, at that, Fish smiles back, which looks just as weird with Baylene's, and nods, like salently. I think, like there is profundity in what you just said. So Fish is mulling that over.
Overhearing, Arthur says, well, it's not that complicated. I just like the sound a bag of coin makes.
So, you are easily entertained by sensory experiences?
I wouldn't be an Electrofox DJ if I wasn't, mate.
I enjoy the feeling of sea foam on the skin, so I empathize.
Isn't seafoam like highly caustic? I think, but that's fine. That makes sense for you. Arthur, well, since we have a little bit of extra time, who wants a cup of coffee? Sounds like it's going to be a long night. I think I know a decent place here.
Yeah, might be good to be aware.
Illegal addiction. Let's go.
Well,
Okay,
this
and that
place is
actually-
a coffee that's downright sinful, mate.
I was going to say that actually allows us to introduce a little side mechanic that I'll have added into the game. Thanks to your position as part of the sort of unassociated loose network of coffee houses all over Doskfall here, roll me a d20. Let's find out
Wow!
what coffee shop has a stall set up in the market right now.
Yeah. 13.
13. Okay. So you find that the Precious Bean Emporium has a shop, a little stall set up
Precious
for the
bean.
evening.
Mm.
Yep, the Precious Bean.
I want them to have an animal mascot.
Oh, of course they do. Of course they do. I have not yet decided what their animal mascot could
Oh,
be.
is it a cat
but
cafe?
oh, yes. Oh, it's a cat cafe.
And you just see the paws behind the sign.
Mm-hmm. The little instead of having regular chain links attaching the sign to the little post that sticks out in front of the stall, they're triangular to look like the cat's ears. So,
She'll,
oh, yeah,
she'll
it's
look at
adorable.
she'll look at Arthur and ask, is this one of these like posh restaurants where you pick the lobster? They're looking at the cats, possibly somewhat hungrily.
Oh no 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 no! If you well, the cats get to eat well. If you eat the cats, I don't think you'll be especially welcome.
Tops I haven't. The posh districts are so confusing, shall they, bemoaning slightly.
Although, to be honest, when you get to I forget the name of the district of the really, really posh. It's White something, I'm pretty sure.
White Crown.
Thank you. Well, I'm sure there are a couple places in White Crown. You know,
I'm
the
pretty
kind
sure
of
we would
meals
be-
where you have to wear a blindfold while you eat to protect yourself from the sin. What's the correct phrasing? I'm trying to think in real life. There's the kind of like eating a young quail still living, and you blindfold yourself so as not to be judged by God as you go and
Oh.
consume.
Yeah,
It's a
is
thing.
it still living? No, I thought it was like it's cooked quail but whole.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, and I think it's the whole same thing. So again, face covered, so you're not judged. I want to say it was on
So-
Hannibal for one episode.
Important note about the world of Duskfall here. That would be the exact opposite of what they do here. Because as part of the Cataclysm and the existence of ghosts and spirits being proved, uh, everybody knows there's an afterlife, and you can't get to it anymore. So the new church that has evolved is a church of the flesh and ecstasy, and enjoyment of life, and all of the finer things about it, to get all of your joy in before you are passed on and obliviated by the spirit wardens, to prevent your mad ghost from taking over the night.
So.
But that's joyful things.
Yeah, standard.
Yeah.
So to that end, that would entirely justify the incredibly rich people doing stuff like eating cats.
So in this world, the rich people eat their quails with like a gag on.
Yes, they gag the quails themselves, and possibly with
No, the
hairspray
rich
or
people
oil.
wear
No, they do it surrounded by mirrors to show off to everyone involved.
Oh God.
Yes, indeedy. And get up to other things while doing so, I would imagine, in some cases. But this is a
Like
PG
tax fraud.
stream. Oh, well, yeah. I mean, tax fraud is just...
standard.
That's just what the rich do. Like, that's their business.
This channel is nothing if not political. No,
Well,
it's good actually. I enjoy the fact that this is a feature of our show. Yes, I am unfortunately we won't be doing any embezzling at this particular function, but it is pretty comfortable at the very least. Got to have a moment of calm before the storm.
Okay. So you head over to the stall, and it is a larger one than most of the stalls in Night Market, since it's a permanent residence for this little extension of the Precious Bean. It actually has an area where you can walk in, and some taller cafe tables with those extra tall chairs. Though it is still not enclosed, this just being an extension of the actual restaurant, which is some distance away at the edge of Night Market, near one of the bridges out of the district. But you do recognize the person running the stall this evening. This is Verdi Foal. She is a sort of middle-aged, kind of tanner woman of Eruvian descent. And she notes you and says, "Ah, welcome. How are we doing this evening? I'm glad to see somebody of our ilk being brought into the graces of those who are taking over the district tonight. And she kind of looks left and right. Like, this is not a woman who is used to talking about such secretive dealings, but she feels honored just to have even the little snippet of knowledge that she does tonight.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's a way to get the community heard, you know what I mean? Actually, to that end, considering I like the idea that there is like almost like a bean grinders union, some kind of like maybe yearly, maybe a bit more frequently than that. Meeting between a lot of the people who own coffee shops, and it's a way to make sure that the prices are kind of fair. If there's somebody who is an absolute like dick wheel, that they are barred from all stores and not just the one that they kind of like show up to, a looking after each other kind of deal.
I mean, it's a new business. You got to look out for each other.
So, to that end, I am in a pretty unique position where I could put forth something useful. You know, if it turns out that the way the guilds, the other gangs have been behaving is in a way that isn't useful to yous, especially here, now's the opportunity to let me know. I might be able to do a thing or two about it.
Yes,
Fish chimes in.
I would love to advocate for the caffeine businesses, as it is a gateway drug to my apothecary in most cases.
A pause.
Well, we've been doing all right by the Dimmer sisters recently, but she leans in a little bit. What is it that those returned people call themselves? I can never remember. It starts with an R, I think.
Is this thing I think I'd have to roll for to know?
No, this is just her. I mean, if you want to roll for it and try and help her remember, you can feel free, or you can just let me pull up my notes and just.
No, I'll let you. I'll let you. I'll let you.
I'm vamping for time because I'm juggling multiple windows.
If there's another kind of like if it's I need to get additional information out of this conversation, I'm happy to go make.
Oh yes, yeah. The reconciled, those folks, and you would know that. The Reconciled is a group that theoretically doesn't exist because they are a group of ghosts who have somehow held onto their humanity. And the fact that she's so flippantly talking about this group is just like, oh, okay, we're being that level of open tonight. Okay. We've
it's
been
clearly
having...
eating. It's clearly eating at her then. If it's a thing that she'd bring up so directly. Oh man, I must admit. I ain't run into them that often, but the premise is so... Well, I would have said that the premise was especially out there, but a couple of the new people running with the golden hour. Arthur says, glancing over his shoulder at Dashir and Fish. I'm not really sure what is truth metaphysically these days. I'm always learning.
Well, the thing is, I don't think they're giving us trouble on purpose. It's just that, those supply lines that are a little bit freer of movement, the ones underground and all, tend to be their usual haunt. And she kind of like giggles at her own joke there. And some of our messengers aren't exactly up to that sort of encounter. Whether they're good people or not, it's just a little surprising. You know what I mean?
Yeah, not the thing you'd expect to run into in the middle of a dark tunnel, right?
Not a fan of ghosts, says Dash. They're I mean, demons you can trust. Ghosts used to be human, very dangerous. Shaking your head.
Fish nods sagely.
An interesting way of thinking about that, she says, in that very customer service way of, what the fuck did you just say? But I'm not going to disagree.
I tell you what. I'm going to go and see if I can go talk to the tunnels are run by whoever's got the biggest share in the district in it. So, how about I go and have a chat, maybe with the Dimmer sisters, since they're about, See if we can get a couple extra lamps hung around the dark corners, you know what I mean?
That would be delightful. Thank you very much.
That's what we do. And if you manage to discover a new particular blend ratio, why don't you go and send me a letter? No need to tell everyone, you know what I mean?
Will do. I'll keep you in mind the next time I'm playing around.
Fish also tries to do the click click, but it ends up sounding like
Just a wet slap.
squish squish.
I almost imagine like towards the end it kind of does that like wax over the comb thing where it buzzes and kind of just through the baleen.
Yeah, it actually whistles a little bit.
I think there'll be this sudden moment of revelation as Arthur's talking about mixtures and things. I shall suddenly sort of spin round to Fish and go, "Perfume? I forgot perfume. Can you mix me something? Quick, before we get to the party."
Of course, I will have you smelling like the sea and beyond.
Perfect. Relaxes again.
I guess I just use one of my my load now to get a bandolier of alchemicals that I had with me all this time.
Okay. Is that one of your things that you get to have on you at all times? Anything that's listed on the load that is in italics, you just get for free.
No, it isn't. It's part of my class, but I do have to expend a load for it.
Okie dokie.
Okay. And could I perhaps, while we're over, it doesn't have to be resolved now, but like I want to roll now, and then over the course of us having coffee, just make the perfume.
Sure. I'll consider that part of this first little wedge of the clock, which we have gone ahead and filled in for this visit to the Precious Beans stall.
Cool. Would that be a tinker roll? I guess.
I'd give you that for a tinker roll. That sounds about right. We are in a controlled position, but since you are away from your normal lab, I think this is going to have limited effect. Does that sound fair?
Okay, yes. Then I would like to push myself for a standard effect.
Sure thing. Sounds good to me.
And
mark stress.
Yeah, 2 stress. And I would love to sabotage myself with saying this is desperate because like we're time pressure, we're short on time, and the fish wants to make Dash smell the best. But if that is too egregious, then I'll.
Okay. How about this? How about I upgrade it to risky and give you an extra die for it?
Sounds good.
Okay, let's do that then.
So risky effect is standard. I've pushed myself. Bonus die is a 1. Let's go. Oh,
that's
baby!
a
Double
crit,
sixes!
baby!
Nice.
Woohoo!
Yo, critical of the game. Oh, dang! I don't get to give you a consequence.
I'm so glad I'm so glad I got to use that one up on.
Hey, listen, on a social job, that might have been the most important role, is making you smell nice. We don't know yet, you know?
I swear, when we were playing Blades in Dark for like a year, I think we maybe got a critical like twice, if that.
Yeah.
Very
Absolutely.
rare.
On both bullshit rules too, like not inconsequential, but not in moments you would want them, you know?
It was all Lucas rolling prowl to steal something, as I recall.
Fucking prowl.
Anyway.
So tell us, what exactly does this perfume smell like? What sort of notes does it produce?
I think it is a subtle, sort of like cinnamony kind of scent, medium bodied, and sort of has the effect of like once entering the nostril produces like the way that taste is 60% determined by taste, or like not so taste is 60% determined by smell. You actually sort of like start tasting the cinnamon in like the back of your tongue, and it produces not an appetizing effect, but it does just make it it does a lot for social fluidity, let's say.
Okay.
And yeah, I
kinda
think
get-
cinnamon with a little bit of hold on, I've got a big bottle of house perfume that I really like. Let's see, cedar wood.
Mm.
Okay, that sort of friendly, sort of calls up memories of kind of spiced, holiday drinks around the fireplace.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
perfect. This is the kind of scent that you would want to have a glass of cognac with.
Mm. I was gonna
Mhm.
say, cinnamon is actually quite a dry flavor, and I think if you were tasting it in the back of your throat, you'd probably get thirsty very quickly. So I like the idea that you just genuinely get thirstier by having this perfume linger around, which at an event where wine and others might be flowing is an
Oh,
interesting side effect.
oh, yes. I think that is ideal. Like people you talk to, or like that Dash talks to, are urged to just partake of more of the alcohols.
Sure, this
Yeah,
lands
drinking a little
exceptionally
more
well.
heavily. I love that.
Uh, we shall,
Love that for you.
wonderful fish. It's perfect. It's perfect. And she'll start applying it far too liberally.
Uh-huh. Uh,
Then probably drink the rest of the bottle if there's any left.
You'll die! No! like
Before being stopped.
Arthur is like in the opening syllable of trying to say you spray it twice in the air and walk through it as you just basically dump it on yourself, and he's like, okay.
Yeah, you see, fish is substantially less slick looking because of that. It's just drying them out. All the cinnamon.
Oh, lovely. Oh, this is wonderful. Okay, so that's our first little wedge of information gathering before the meeting actually starts. Do we have something else that we'd want to accomplish? Do we want to talk to others, listen to the crowd, sort of
Can we?
poke around?
And this can happen as one of the later ones. It doesn't need to happen now, but I would like to spend a slice of us as we're walking to the venue being stopped by a gang that hate us. We might hate them. Either is fine. But I just like the idea of running into a Gary Oak type as we are on our way to the function. But that can be later.
Okay, I'll treat that as our last slice of the pie.
Cool,
How about
thank
that?
you.
And then we'll. So, anything else that we want to accomplish before then?
I was going to potentially suggest a bit of digging around to see who's doing what's going for way of catering and entertainment at the venue.
Okay, so poking your head around, just to kind of give you an idea of how this district works, the actual night market itself is kind of towards the center in an open sort of not courtyard. It's not the right area. Um, kind of like the open town market where people put up and take down stalls constantly, with the kind of boardwalk that you see pictured here. But the location of tonight's events is at Vreen's Hound Racetrack, which is a large permanent combination of arena and sports track and that sort of an enclosure, and has its own set of stalls that have been permanently sort of glommed onto the outside and then had a wall built around them, so that there is a sort of walkway enclosed within the arena to sort of focus people to buy their fare there over the course of the day. And you can see the smoke and steam stacks outside of that wall, sort of going at 110%, preparing food for the event tonight. Do you want to like poke your nose in deeply? How would you like to do that? I guess I should say.
I think it would probably be uh, sneaking from stall to stall, sort of like prying in the back and that sort of thing. See which ones look like they've got more activity. Like, is it a horse racing or dog racing or something else?
Little of column A, little of column B, little of column C. These strange sort of dog-like creatures that were discovered post-cataclysm that are a little faster than your standard hounds themselves, but a little slower than horses. So they've added sort of a mid-weight category, shall we say,
Yeah.
between the two. Um,
And I think the prowl might also be appropriate because I'll there'll definitely be some lifting of some food as I'm going around.
Okay, let's see a prowl roll for it then. This is definitely going to be risky. I'm going to go with standard effect because everybody here is working, and they are not necessarily watching out for somebody to be, going through here for the most part. So
Okay. I think dash. I won't add any modifiers to it. Then I think I'll just take it as it goes. So
go for it then.
risky and standard, no bonus.
Oh, there we go. A 6.
Hey, a nice split there.
Hot match.
Mhm.
Okay. So you make your way into kind of the back hallway that separates the outer wall itself from the front end of these stalls that is accessible in sort of the interior hallway. I'm struggling to describe what is essentially a stadium to everybody, but you know how you have that sort of massive interior hallway that separates the stadium itself and the stands
Mm.
from the various food and souvenir stalls, and
Mhm.
then behind those stalls, between them and the outer wall, is the actual area that set up crews and caterers and those sorts of people would actually be actively working in, so that they can rush about and never be seen by the crowds. You make your way into that sort of a back hallway area, and are able to just kind of schmooze your way on through. You carry yourself in the way of somebody who is meant to be there, and so nobody questions you. And you're able to sort of pick up food from here and there. This is the nice food. You are used to eating as your standard meals on any given day mushroom derivatives and other things that are very easily grown. There's a lot of pork in the diet, a little bit of chicken if it's been a good day, because unfortunately chickens are actually hard to raise without the sun being a thing, it turns out. Um,
Minor
But-
detail. Sun's gone.
Oh, I mean, it's not gone per se. It's just shattered into a million billion little pieces, and that's why it's dark even during the daytime now. But no, there are in fact every once in a while you pick up hints of actual beef. This is the high end stuff. There's fruit here. Some of this stuff you haven't ever even seen before. Is that a strawberry? You've heard of those, but never actually had one until you pop it into your mouth and realize that, wow, this is very, very sweet, but also a little bit sour and tangy. This is a flavor explosion you've never experienced.
This fruit has acne.
Probably this sort of moan of joy as she comes across some beef or something, and then immediately has to shut up so she doesn't blow a cover. She'll certainly sneak out a few rolls and things for everybody. I suspect coming back with probably the odd gravy stain down the front of her new outfit, down the side of one of the legs or something, where she's just tried to squash some sort of pie in there to bring back for the rest of the party.
I will say the rolls that you bring back are what would be to you a peculiar golden brown. You're used to most things being baked with mushroom flour, that just everything comes out a very pale, usually a slightly burned sensation that just you can never quite get away from. But these are delicious. You can actually taste that this was made with real wheat. This was made with real butter.
Everything made out of mushrooms. I knew this was a horror setting. Ugh.
Hey,
forgot that's
you
a
grow
food
whatever
you
you
don't
can in the
like.
dark.
If there are whole apples, boss would like to pocket a couple.
Okay. Oh, that's right. You actually got the chance at some of this stuff in our session 0 when you were schmoozing at the party. So yeah, you've now got an ooh. You know what? Is there a place we can mark an addiction for you?
How about them apples?
Actually, I
I
think
like
before
that.
this
Addiction
it was
fresh
tomatoes.
fruit is just very good.
Oh yeah.
Tomatoes are fruit, that's allowed.
I'm just saying, this is something that he doesn't get to see all the time. Save it for later.
Okay. So yeah, you recognize that this is not this isn't a game. This isn't a joke. This isn't somebody pulling a fast one and trying to invite everybody under an assumed name or something. This is the real deal. This is either some very rich folks involved or some very powerful folks. But either way, they got the nice stuff out on display tonight.
All the stops removed, says Dash, and starts sharing food out amongst the group.
As you return. Oh, thanks a bunch. Oh, come on. You've already ruined your right leg. There's gravy.
Oh, it'll wash out. It'll buff out, she'll say, like wiping, probably spreading more crumbs. And
I have to return this. You do realise that Andromeda is probably going to come back for these pieces, right?
I can lick it out, she'll say.
Like a cat.
One fully exposed leg. Extend the leggy.
Lord. Yeah. I think at that point Arthur just leaves you to it and takes the role. Well, shit, this really is good.
But these red things.
Oh, and it looks at the kind of like, tiny. I guess strawberries are actually pretty large.
I mean, you don't have to limit yourself. They could be cherries. They could be any number of things. They're just small red things. You tell me what it is.
It's a weird actual Nathan thing. I'm allergic to strawberries, so I actually have a poor sense of size of what they are compared to other things. But it's like, oh yeah, they are actually like quite large as berries go. Wow. Well, to be honest, I don't think I should probably be eating any of it. They're like, he pauses and then it's like, I don't have anything on me that I can store that and see if I can make good coffee with it. Shit. Fish. You got an empty test tube, like a clean one, please.
For what purpose?
Science. Culinary science.
Say no more.
And yeah, she offers you a test tube. It's too small for a single strawberry to fit in, so you're gonna have to like mash it in.
Yeah. And Arthur has a mixture of kind of like scientific discovery glee at doing this process, but also a faint amount of, when you buy an expensive like nerd thing and it's in a box and you don't need the box anymore, but you have to open the expensive box for the thing and you're a little sad when you do it. It's that energy, if that makes sense at all.
So you kind of open it up and it's like, oh, even the packing material is high quality. Did they use magnets to keep this closed? Oh my god.
Yeah, and cramming that into a test tube. It's like, oh, damn it. But yeah, test tube of strawberry obtained.
I love role-playing games for moments like this. I could never come up with items like test tube of strawberry. That is just...
I'll add that.
I will use it later. Don't worry.
I'm sure. Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. Okay.
Hold on. I want to roll fortune just for a little thing. If I get a success, then nothing happens. But if there's a failure, I want to add a little complication to this, just because I can.
Wait, to the thing that Arthur has stored.
Yes, just the situation of the test tube.
I kind of want to push back against that, actually.
Okay, then that's fine. That's fine. If you have plans for that, that doesn't require me sabotaging it, then let's go with that.
I'd be appreciated. Thank you.
Yep.
All right, so that's our second slice of the pie. Does anybody have an idea for the third? And then we already know what we're doing with the fourth.
Let's see, John, do you have anything?
I've been thinking about this, and Bosk would be in mostly, except for not swiping some fruit. He's kind of in sentry mode. It's a lot of people. He knows that there are groups that we are not on friendly terms with, so he's just kind of keeping an eye out for everyone to make sure that no one starts anything with his friends. And I will say, if Dash did hand him a dinner roll, he would have handed Dash a Honeycrisp apple that he swiped.
Thank you.
So, would you like to kind of observe and listen to some of the things that other people are saying while you are on sentry mode?
Yeah, I think that'd be good.
Okay. Let's have you roll about it just to determine how much information you're going to get.
Would you give me study for that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Can I help? Because I think I want to just like hang out with like Fish wants to hang out with Little Manager here.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Take an extra die for that then.
Sweet. Position is controlled.
Yep, position is
Remind
definitely
me-
still controlled.
I get 1 stress for helping out, right?
That's right.
Yeah,
I believe so,
okay.
yes.
Effect.
We'll say standard effect since this
Cool.
is something that's well within your wheelhouse.
And 1 bonus die.
And 1 bonus die.
Shazam.
Ooh. The highs
Ooh.
and the lows.
Oh, a little scary there for a second.
Gee,
okay.
you're not kidding.
6 is a 6 is a 6. We take
Exactly,
those.
it is.
Mm.
All right, so complete success in this case. You get the sense that not everybody here is part of the cruise. Like, a lot of the people here are just the general night market crowd. Maybe they are people who are hopeful to be in a crew at some point in the future, but they are not at this time. So many of them are just, your regular everyday merchants, the people who are just, here for the evening to sell their wares and hopefully walk home with a bit of a profit in their pocket. But a few things that might be important is that the people who are here as members of a crew are all behaving exceedingly well this evening. And there's even talk of a general truce going around, where it seems like a little bit of information has gotten out ahead of the meeting that it looks like there may be some bigger cooperation on the horizon between all of the various crews of the city. But nobody's quite sure why, what's the motivation behind it, how it's going to be enforced, or anything like that. But they're all very interested to see if it'll even work. And so everybody's just kind of holding back on their normal grudges, on their normal, uh, uh, irritation and aggressiveness against each other. And there's a little bit of talk about the fact that, like, oh, well, somebody got snubbed, and this crew, why didn't they get an invite? But why did that crew did get an invite? And there even a couple of times you see a couple of people who spot you guys and realize that, oh, hey, I mean, I heard that they were up and coming, but really, they got an invite? They're here?
So
Okay, interesting.
So let's see. What was the group that wasn't invited? That
The Hive were not
the
invited.
Hive wasn't
Yeah,
invited.
the Hive are the biggest one that didn't get an invite. But if you give me a second, I can give you some other people that were mentioned that just for that total success. Okay, so other groups that were not invited: the Circle of the Flame, who are a sort of malicious occult group who are out for their own gain and nobody else's. Another group called the Horde, which are sort of spoken about as a shadowy organization of people who are returned from the dead but incomplete.
Related to the reconciled, but not the same kind of deal.
Related, but often spoken about as enemies. The Railjacks were not invited, which is kind of interesting, but also kind of makes sense since the Hive were not invited. The Railjacks being closely associated with the merchants and all those. The one like individual name that gets dropped is Ulf Ironborn, who is has been trying to make a name for himself amongst the workers of the city for quite some time, but has not ever quite managed to pull any jobs off that would get him real clout. And additionally, the last name that you would see dropped here is the Weeping Lady, which is another one of the sort of religious groups in the city that has never that did not get an invite. and it's not clear whether that was an intentional snub or if it's just a your interests do not align with us this evening sort of situation.
Interesting. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna write that down because that is if you're saying that there's an idea of sort of like a truce in the air, plus these were not invited.
Could be interesting. Could be interesting.
You see. It's becoming
Good roll.
more and more surprising that we, considering we deal in trade, are one of the few merchant entities that have been invited.
Well, there might be one among you who has an answer to why that happened. Considering this letter was handed to you instead of being mailed out, like you've heard a few other people mention.
It's an important question, actually. Bask, who actually gave you the letter? I don't think we asked.
It was a messenger that handed it to me. And I, as a player, don't remember who we went to, because it was a mansion we went to for the job that led into this.
Yeah, give me just a second to pull up some information, because I don't want to give you the name of the wrong group and have
Right.
you haunt me for the rest of the campaign. So the name of the manor that you were at was the Duffy Manor over in Silkshore. For those of you who don't know, Silkshore is kind of the red light district of Doskfall. It is not a place that usually has individual homes there per se. Like there are what we would consider condominiums there for people who want to live that cavalier bohemian lifestyle, but certainly not a manor. Except for the Duffys, are possibly the most well-known of the old guard still within that district. It is a site of a regular series of parties and is known to provide only the finest of concoctions and drugs for their attendees. And Bosk was earlier tonight able to secure the contract to supply them for the indefinite future for Smile the Widest, sniping out the Foghounds for that illustrious position.
Shyest but most valuable player.
Yeah.
Okay, to be fair, he was not there alone. He had some of the lower crew standing members with
But still, like, you're the only name that like we Smile the Widest members care about. Like, who are the other ones? Whatever.
Funny
Somebody
enough,
had to keep the
Hocus Pocus
children
was,
like
in fact,
on,
one of the others.
like had to shepherd these children to and from the mission safely. So best MVP.
He has one job. He does it kind of okay.
All right.
But yeah, after like I said, we got a new client, and on the way back, Messenger found me and brought us to.
To fill in a little bit, the messenger who did hand it to you was wearing the emblem of the Ciphers, who is the messenger guild of the city. They swear sacred oaths of secrecy, never revealing the contents of their messages or the identities of their clients, or so they claim. But so this is from a trusted source. This isn't a random invitation. It's just fortuitous timing that it reached you.
I want to ask. Bosk real quick.
Little manager, before we enter the party proper, would you like some enhancements to stabilize you? I know these are not your favorite kind of dealings.
No, I'll be fine. I've had a lot of drinks tonight, but the coffee helped balance it out, so I'll be fine.
Okay, because I have a potion you can pair with eel.
How new is the potion?
5.
Just 5, huh?
5 days, 5 hours, 5 test subjects.
I forgot. But
No.
it works as long as you provide the eel.
I don't think I'll need it for now. Keep it in mind for later.
Very well.
There's just like a pop-up ad. It's like, would you like enhancements? Try a new potion, only 5.
5 fingers.
I have to imagine Fish and Bask have had this kind of conversation a lot by this point.
Yeah. I was going off of like our session 0, like our
Yeah.
bonds, because you need a lot of this for your pugilist activities. So and I think we also decided like you're sort of my test subject.
Yeah.
But yeah, the eel goes eel's too far.
I feel also slipping into anything that you sell in the packaging. I'll just have to slip a little piece of paper with sort of hot demons in your area are looking for contact dash up there. But
Hot demons in your area looking for 5.
Okay, well, with that information dump on you, I think we'll move to the last slice of pie. And you are going to encounter someone that you probably didn't want to encounter tonight.
Oh, if I may, like, we get a shot of the kind of like road leading up to the racetrack. Since it's like a pretty big, you figure that maybe there's like a main thoroughfare that's leading up to it. And we get like a low shot of us kind of walking into frame, so we get our outfits like fully in frame as we kind of, because we've been talking lightly about it, but I want a moment, because I love a moment where we all talk about player character fashion.
Yeah, let's do it. What are we wearing? Who are we representing?
Who are we wearing this evening?
Who are we wearing? Well,
I mean, I can go first or last. I'm fine with either, but
I'd like you to go last.
yes, cool.
I'll start with Fish. I posted the dress in the chat before.
Indeed.
And I'll post it again, and maybe we can like pull it up.
For those
like,
who may be watching through the YouTube after the fact, who might not have access to the chat, would you mind giving a visual description?
Of course, it is a Alexander McQueen sort of like thigh-high dress. It is, oh my god, I'm so bad at describing fashion. It is short-sleeved, puffed shoulders, a necklace that looks like they were made out of scavenged doubloons and other sorts of valuables that you would find in the treasure chest in a sunken ship at the bottom of the ocean. The patterning on the dress is a seafoam white, ocean blue, with bits and pieces of like symmetrical Catholic symbols, but seaweed colored. And that is what Fish is wearing. Also, I think to top it off is just like a veil of seaweed that hides the fact that they are just a normal guy, you know? Nothing strange about that, just completely human.
Yes, in your character art, I kind of made sure that Fish had an Orville Peck style veil at the front of their pork pie hat to maintain your modesty, obviously.
Yeah. It's about the art, not about the artist.
Even though we kind of know a little bit about the outfits that Dashier and Bask have, feel free to adapt them to what you would like it to look like for the camera, A, and B, for the people who are maybe catching us at part 2.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So Dash is wearing quite how do you describe them? Sort of like flowing, sort of trousers that give the illusion of a dress, quite flowing with probably actually in sort of tan to white kind of pattern colours, with a very fetching gravy stain down the right leg around pocket height. She'll have had her messy hair actually tidied and combed, which took the better part of several hours, and probably have it tied up quite high with a few of the. I'm trying to think the proper term for them now, and all that's coming to mind is chopsticks. They may
Oh,
actually
sure.
be chopsticks, sort of pushed through it, keeping it upright. And I think she'll probably have some definitely stolen jewellery on that'll be probably fake gold and jet, I suspect. Sort of complement her peculiar eyes.
In the chat when we were talking about it earlier, Koakuma said that those are palazzo pants. So now we know.
Thank you.
Bask,
Okay, so
what's up?
I've been trying to think of how this would play out because Bask is a very basic, simple man. Definitely the blouse that you gave him is the nicest thing that he's currently wearing. And as we established, probably a size smaller to get that kind of extra tight fit. In my head, it is definitely like a baby blue colored kind of top. And I want to say that before throwing on his trademark peacoat, the sleeves didn't quite go long enough, so they're just rolled up to the elbow at all times. And beyond that, like, fairly basic kind of like gray trousers with some pretty normal suspenders going on. His boots are very worn, but I think there was an attempt made to kind of shine them up a little bit. Probably didn't work, but you can see that they were tried.
It's
to
shiny,
look
but
nicer.
it's just kind of exaggerated
Like-
the fact that there are scratches in it.
Without question. And he's taken off his hat. He didn't bring it with him because, again, told that would probably be like rude in this scenario. So just hair slicked back, and again, just trusty peacoat, which I will say that has been altered by AU over time to have just more gold in it to blend in better with the gang.
I like how, because when I did the portraits, I've kind of put a gold accent in each of them for kind of consistency, but I like the fact that that's actually canon and you do have gold trim on your peacoat. That's very good. I like that.
Gotta build all characters as a whole person. Yeah, and I think that's it. And like I said, I want to say the blouse will probably stick out the most. Like, it is much higher quality than anything else he's wearing.
Yeah, Arthur. I guess at this point we're going specifically by AU. We see that they're wearing kind of like black Chelsea boots, so they've got a bit of a heel to them, not high, about an inch, and trousers that are specifically fitted, designed to show off shape. Although for somebody who's maybe like 10 years younger than AU actually is, they are wearing like a large like fashion belt. So it's not holding up the trousers, but it's just for like cinching. That has kind of like a peplum style skirt back that comes out of it. And is wearing a charcoal gray turtleneck cabled sweater with a kind of like, I guess it's it has like an upper boob window cut out slightly. Doesn't fill it out super well. He's not especially broad chested, but this is from what he has understood of a little bit of kind of consorting with a couple of the fancier people uptown who have decided to do various coffee tours, and he's kind of quietly pressed them for information about current fashion trends. And although they are not necessarily things that he would normally wear, he's putting them into effect today specifically because we're going to be dealing with the high end, and looking the part is important.
Wowee! I'm fanning myself. If I were a guest at the party, then I would just walk up to AU and go like, "Well, aren't you a tall drink of water?"
Although, like, visually put this in my head, it would actually be a bit disproportionate if you were to wear this in real life. And I think that's kind of the point. Like, these are all fashion trends that the high class wear. It's maybe not all high fashion trends that the high class wear simultaneously, but this is the information that he's kind of gathered to put together for the look.
Yeah. Then
Which
I would
makes
go.
it very interesting that somebody else is also wearing this, maybe.
Yeah. Then I would also adjust what I would say to you and go, well, aren't you a tall glass of liquid cocaine?
Well, thank you
Okay.
very kindly. Go for it.
And I think about here is where we get that just littlest bit of record scratch as the camera pans across as you approach Vreen's hound racing track and go to use that main entryway and spot that, well, you're not the only one trying to use it right now. In fact, Buford O'Bear and the Foghounds had the idea to enter at about this same time as well. Oh, good evening. It's nice to see you again so soon, Bask. And you see that the younger person that he has hooked by the arm is in fact the one wearing the exact same outfit as you, AU. Oh, I see we travel in similar circles. Did you bring out some arm candy yourself tonight, Bask? Or are you just here to try and snipe me again?
Arthur, immediately playing the part, moves up behind Bask and languidly puts an arm around Bask's shoulder and leans in so you get a little bit more of the titty window, and gives a super wide smile. Well, it's delightful that you have a partner of excellent taste. Good evening.
And the partner, who is also kind of wearing a wide-brimmed hat, sort of sat rakishly across their head so that it's at a nice tilt so you can't see the full face, kind of gives you this stern, hard expression and nods that kind of kindly, I recognize your fashion, and I'm glad that we share the same tastes.
Indeed.
Oh.
Well, let's make sure that the people at the function don't get us confused now. Like, we are entirely different heights and complexions. This
Oh,
conversation
100%. Different
silly.
build, different height, different complexion, but you know, the same kind of little snippiness going on there.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it's glad to see that you were able to be here and you got your invite. We got ours a week or so ago, but you know, that's how these things are. You gain some ground, you lose some ground, but either way, keeps going.
Indeed, indeed. And I tell you what, while we're both doing a little bit of wheeling dealing, if we find a couple that we don't need, I'm more than happy to drop you a line of some work for yous.
I'll keep that in mind. We'll be in touch, I'm sure.
Arthur blinks in surprise that they weren't offended by the slight jab. Mind how you go. Oh, well, I'll be sure to enjoy the evening. This is definitely going to be exciting for us both, I'm sure.
Right you are. We'll see you inside, I'm sure. And they don't push past you because it's not that tight of an area and you're both being polite to one another. But there's definitely more of them here than there are of you, and they're being waved past by the people at the doors as if that was to be expected. If anybody would like to... Yep, go for it.
Fishnet gestures. Arthur asks,
Should we kill him?
You look at Arthur, and the piercings in his ear are there's sparks of electricity that are jumping from one point to the other in them. and he stands up and lets go of having draped an arm around Bask. Nah, not necessary. Not necessary.
Might be
Perfectly
safer,
fine.
say. Might be
Sorry, go ahead.
safer. So yes, apologies. Dash sort of oddly staring slightly into the middle distance, like past the group that's just gone. Might be safer. Getting a bad sense of foreboding. Sort of like, not the stars are right, shall say, because when you've been in my business for as long as I have, the stars are always right for something. But don't know, premonition, shall say.
Might be the caffeine. You are quite young.
Also, I think this perfume might be going to my head, shall say, wobbling slightly.
You did drink it. I saw you.
So tasty.
I know. I drank some too. I don't feel well.
You drank your own ambergris? Ugh.
Oh boy. Arthur tries to collect himself and fails slightly. The battle between the two of you. Well, as long as what they're getting up to doesn't cut into our profits. Right, let's make an entrance. Let's make our names known and hopefully make a little money.
Okay, so you head on in, following the main pathways, and once you actually get into the stadium itself, you find that the stops have been pulled out, in fact. Oh, and actually that is the wrong theme.
Somebody was doing a little... we see somebody in the background trying to break into a window for like 30 seconds.
We see the
There we go.
conductor get shot by a flintlock and replaced.
It's just a Rashomon. It's another story happening over there somewhere. It's fine.
Yep. It's great. So there we are. You make your way into the actual stadium area, and it looks like the normal track has been covered over with carpets for the evening, and the grassy area out towards the middle has been spruced up, maybe even painted. You're not quite sure. How do you even grow grass without the sun being around? But large electric lights have been erected all over the place to allow for people to walk around. And there's even a central platform that's been set up that is roped off and has a place to stand to present at. And several guards standing at the various steps that go up onto it. Plus, tables all over the place with food and drink and various servers and all those wonderful things that an upscale party has going for it. This is new. This is something that says to you all that you've truly made it.
This is my kind of function. Don't get invited to things like these often, lads. Make the most of it, shall we?
A bit too big, says Dash. I feel a bit exposed.
In a moment of grandeur, Fish goes,
About, in real and route, the depth fires danced at night. The water, like a witch's oils, burnt green and white. Let's fucking party.
Yeah.
Okay.
You heard the Lady Bask, let's get to it.
And as you mingle, you kind of begin to intermix, but still keeping with your same crowd, because, of course, this is a gathering of all the various most important crews from around the city, and you don't want to get too far off from your own people, lest something occur, even under the standards of a truce. And eventually you see a tall, strong... I'll give him broad-chested, although next to Bosk he might not be. But a soldier of a man takes the stage and looks around, and initially a few people start to quiet down, but then he steps off to one side, and a rather elderly man steps up instead. And he hands his cane to the younger man, and then uses the lectern there as his support, before standing to a much more full height, and you can see the scars reminiscent of those of a street urchin, somebody who has grown up with a hard life and is now elderly and well respected by all the guards and people around him, causing everyone else in the crowd to kind of come to this sort of hush. This is the tower, you realize suddenly. This is the leader of the unseen. As he speaks, his voice rings out with an unnatural loudness, and you realize that there must be somebody amongst the crowd, amongst his helpers, giving him a little bit of magical assistance as he speaks. Can any among you count? Because I can. And from what I can see, I believe the future is ours. If all of you can learn to count too. Look at who we have here among us. We've got the Dimmer sisters, local pillars of the community, despite, or perhaps because of their deep roots. Sitting next to the Red Sashes, valued newcomers here to spread their culture and martial techniques. We've got the Silver Nails, whose never-ending mission is to rid the world of feral ghosts and demons. Right beside the Reconciled, ghosts whose mental fortitude has prevented them from going feral themselves. And nobody, not a single one of you, is at each other's throats. That is a miracle. And miracles are what I'm here to talk about tonight. And I'll pause the speech there to see if any of you have reactions or want to make any sort of commentary.
Arthur isn't saying anything, but I think with just the general tension of the space slightly rising, you can see that a couple of the loose dreads he has in front of his face also start to crackle slightly, almost start to levitate from the static building up within them from the tension of the moment.
Fish just snorted something and is now huffing on an eel.
I'm sorry, did you say huffing on an eel?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Like the thing I offered Dusk, it has to go in the eel.
Or it doesn't work, I see.
Mm-hmm.
I think Dash is probably making side eye at the anti. Was it the No, it wasn't the Crimson Sisters that were the anti-demon.
The Silver Nails, I think.
Silver
Yes, the
Nails.
Silver
Apologies,
Nails.
that was it. Yes, making eye and sort of scratching slightly under like a wrist of where the bandages kind of are. A little bit nervously.
You get an eel. You get offered an eel.
I don't think I could eat a whole one, she'll say quietly.
Bosk, well, normally he's trying to be in his sentry mode. I think he is actually slightly charmed by the tower, and like is kind of moved and kind of like takes in a deep breath and puffs off his chest a little bit, like, all right, I like what this guy is saying, kind of thing.
Yeah, not only that, but this guy clearly comes from the same kind of place that you do. It's good to see that somebody made good. He continues, "You're standing right now among delegates of the 10 most influential crews in the city, plus a few others of note. And there's close to 100 more out there in the foggy night, counting all of the affiliates, gangs, and helpers each of you work with. That's 10,000 or so members in total, if my sources are correct. And they always are. 10,000 people, not organized, yet, but ready to fight. 10,000 soldiers. Now, there aren't but 5,000 police in the whole of Doskfall, and that's counting the Bluecoats, the Inspectors, and the Spirit Wardens. Have you done the math yet? Can you count? For those who can't, here's the sum total. 1 crew could run this city. 1 crew. All of us. Nothing would move without us allowing it to happen. We could tax the crime syndicates that call themselves merchants. We could police our own streets. We own them anyway. And we could do what needs to be done without anyone getting in our way. Not the law, not the Lord, not the Emperor himself. How's everybody doing?
Dropped an eel.
Yeah, Arthur's grin has been getting wider and wider as this kind of speech has been going. The idea about we run things around here has filled him with a kind of aspirational delight. And we actually even see kind of like, again, a crackle of electric sparks like run across the gold of his teeth.
Boss is just more like kind of nodding along to the speech now. Like he's really buying into this.
Is Dash pro or anti this?
I think Dash is probably almost like worrying about a sense of sort of a weird. I like the sort of thought as a mystic and a demonologist. She's getting a bit of a vibe of sort of the change in the air, and maybe a portent of what's coming. And she'll almost have stopped paying attention to the speech midway through, and she'll be sort of whispering various sort of little chants and litanies under her breath, in almost like she's reciting pages from books that she has pulled to memory, in a way that sort of calms her down a bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fish has if you could see her just regular normal face, it would be of intense disapproval, as if there is the result of this would be disastrous for some reason in her purview.
Bosk, at some point in this, you realize that somebody bumped into you. Probably doesn't matter. You're enraptured by what's going on. But just felt like I should make a note of that.
It's crowded. It's fine. It happens.
So the speech continues. The problem in the past has always been lords like Skurlock turning us against one another. We've been forced to hide in the shadows, kept too busy fighting for our 10 square feet of ground, our turf, our little piece of turf. That's crap, and you all know it. The turf is ours by right because it's our home. This city, its streets, are where we live. All we have to do is keep up the general truce. We take over one district at a time, secure our territory, secure our turf, because it's all our turf. And slowly, kind of over the course of this speech, murmurs have been starting. More and more people have been kind of nodding along, going, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And so, at this kind of crescendo of the speech, we're starting to see people milling about. And Bosk in particular, something finally clicks in your noggin. Something jostles loose. Because you encountered Buford earlier tonight. You knew who he was running with tonight. There were some people in the group that he was running with that weren't with him earlier. And kind of looking around in the crowd, you see the group. Buford locks eyes with you. And just past him, you see one of those people who wasn't with him earlier tonight. You see them raise their arm. You see a pin hidden underneath their collar. A bee. The symbol of the hive. As they fire a shot from their pistol, and you suddenly realize that you've got a little bit of extra weight in your coat as the bullet hits the tower in the heart, and he goes down.
What? What's the reaction from the crowd?
Oh, the crowd dissolves into chaos. And Buford, at the top of his lungs, yells, "It was the Smiles. I saw him. I just watched Bosk put a pistol in his jacket. Get him before they get away."
Arthur, the spell broken with the gunshot kind of like starts in surprise, and when somebody says the Smiles, he like looks round in surprise, and then after processing the accusation, a surprising amount of anger, and he's now actively crackling with electricity.
Bosk would like to feel for the weight. Does he actually feel a gun in his pocket?
Oh yeah. Oh, there's a pistol in your pocket.
He's 100% not pulling it out, but he knows it's there. Oh shit.
I have introduced a clock called Escape the Thoroughfare.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And give me a moment. I should also introduce one other clock for the unseen catching you.
Okay.
It's chaotic. They're going to have trouble finding the four of you in the crowd. Maybe it was a mistake to only invite a few of you tonight, but we shall see.
I'd like to pull the opening gambit by employing my venomous ability, which is choose a drug or poison from your bandolier stock to which you have become immune. You can push yourself to secrete it through your skin or saliva, or exhale it as a vapor. And I would like to secrete something that starts to smoke a lot.
Interesting. Okay. All right. I dig it. I like this.
Is this something
how
that
much-
you've done before?
Not with this, because I'm taking it literally by saying it's got to be a drug or a poison. I'm thinking poison or like a caustic kind of thing, and I am purposely ingesting it and exuding it through my skin
For
to
sure.
give ourselves
I
a smoke
guess
screen.
I raised that in a kind of like, if this is something that you've done before and we are aware you can do, you might say something like as a warning word, and we all might like pull masks out and stuff like that, so we don't also get poisoned. But
Okay, yeah. Yes, I think code word for that is
Sea change.
And I want to I give the signal and I start vaping.
I think just as it sort of runs in quite well, could I be have Dash do something simultaneously?
Say that again?
Could I be have Dash do something simultaneously as this is going on?
What would you like to do simultaneously? And then we'll figure out if it's at the same time, or like if
Yeah,
you might
no,
maybe
absolutely.
assist, or if it's going to be a separate thing.
So in the sort of premonition kind of thing of the words and litanies she was intoning under her breath, at the point almost as the shot was fired, in that she'll produce from the little handbag that she's got that that lovely vellum envelope which has the circle that she'd drawn slightly earlier. And at the point that someone that gets shouted out, it was the Smiles, we saw them, she'll bite down on her finger and use blood to complete the circle.
oh shit.
So,
Okay, what's the goal here?
I'll be using my demon summoning ritual to effectively wanting to create some chaos.
Ooh. Okay.
Because I've got this far into the session, I haven't summoned a demon yet. I feel
Okay.
it's
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So these are going to be two separate rolls. I feel. Hmm. So I think we're both of them are in a desperate position. So both of you are going to mark an XP. But-
To the EXP genre of the skill that you're about to use, just FYI.
Correct. I think that Fish, yours is going to be great effect because you are adding even more like visual chaos to this situation. I think Dash, I gotta give you great as well because you are trying to add a demon to an already hectic crowd.
well,
Let's
I sort of
see
like the
how this
idea
goes.
that the ritual probably at least slightly fueled by human emotion as they which is suddenly like peak to a height, and her fundamental thing is going to be we've got to protect the party. I know that my premonition's right on this, so
Okay. Can I also say for just because I specified it is like a caustic kind of acid that produces a lot of smoke. I will gladly take like a harm in order to do this.
Oh yeah. Let's see what you roll first, because
Yeah.
there might be some serious consequences and complications that haven't happened as a result of this.
True. So it's because it says I have to push myself to do this at all. So I don't think I can push myself even more.
I would agree with that.
However, I will use my special ability of Foresight, 2 times per score. You can assist a teammate without paying stress. Tell us how you prepared for this, which I will justify as we have done this before and we know how to not poison ourselves when doing this particular maneuver.
Delightful.
Yeah. Like you hear sea change, and maybe the others were like stunned, and you just like clap them all into like awareness. Like, hey, put on your gas mask.
So that counts as an assist in this case, I'm assuming?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you get an extra die to that then.
Cool. I would like to argue this is a rec roll because it is a one of the things is create distractions and chaos.
I will give you that. Rex sounds fantastic here.
Oh, thank you. So desperate. Great effect. 1 bonus die. Here we fucking go.
Oh, yes!
Hey.
That is a 6, baby.
Wonderful. Okay. So, yeah, you absolutely do this. And in fact, thanks to the previous experience and like kind of talking this through and the runs you've been on in the past, your teammates hear that and immediately know they have to cover their mouths and noses. So nobody's going to gain a serious consequence from this. And we are going to tick the Escape the Thoroughfare clock up 3 pips. However, I am also going to, even though it's a full success, and I know that, some people may look down on me for this, I do think I'm going to tick up the Unseen Catch-Up, because you just made a fucking smoke cloud in the middle of this, and they might be a little suspicious about why that is.
Don't worry about it.
Mm.
That's my response. Hell yeah.
I guess let's resolve this fucking demon.
Do I get a harm, by the way?
No, you do not.
Wow.
Full success means you did it.
I'm so
You do
good
not
at
have any
vaping.
harm.
Nice.
Big board.
We are the best gang ever.
The cinnamon was drying you out a little bit, but you still had enough of a good sheen to protect you from it.
Yeah, I do need to re-wetten myself when we get a chance.
The opposite of powdering your nose. All right, so Dash, what you doing?
Finishing her intonation, something to the point of those who dwell under the revelry of human faces, bring some chaos to this area tonight, so my companions can escape without harm. I think I assume it's an attune roll for this, as its magical effect.
I feel like a tune is appropriate. Yeah.
Okay, I will mark 2 points of stress. She's going to push herself for this, I think. 'Cause very much wants it to succeed.
Okay.
So that'd be a tune with Desperate.
Yes, desperate and great.
And 1 bonus dice.
Oh no! Oh no! It's critical fail!
Oh fuck!
No!
Oh shit! Oh, Tom!
Yeah.
Tom, why did you do that?
Mm.
Tom, why'd you go and
Oh,
have to do that?
You give me
Perfect.
the good
Uh,
things. Oh, this is
I am happy to provide. Well, glorious
this is
GM.
delicious. Okay.
Oh no!
So
Oh
here's the
no!
thing. You do summon the demon. And I get to introduce something that I'd been thinking about for a while now.
That's never good.
So the moment this demon comes out, with crackling electroplasm ripping into the world, the reconciled nearby go a little grainy and pixelated as the Electrovox waves that this particular demon brings along with it push them further away from their humanity. Because, of course, if we're going to introduce something like radio, something that carries electricity through the air, in a world where ghosts and spirits are made of power and electricity, something weird was going to happen, right? So, yeah, the reconciled in the immediate area closest to your demon are no longer reconciled. They are fully feral.
Oh! That's good, right?
Just as planned.
And unfortunately, the unseen who have been now looking for you are also very quickly catching up to what's going on here. So, stuff has gotten weird and a little bit synthy, but, you know, it is what it is, right? So, how about the other two that we haven't heard from yet? With these new developments, what's going on? What are you up to?
Okay.
I think Bask would look to AU about what's the move. He will say like, "We gotta go," because he has a goddamn gun in his pocket.
Yeah, yo, clear a path for the rest of the crew. I'm gonna make sure that this thing don't follow us.
How fast is Fish?
Sluggish.
He will pick up Fish and start heading back away from all this mess. And he knows that Dash is a quick little thing. So, like, I don't think he's going to pick up Dash. Unless Dash is down for some reason, right?
No, Dash isn't down. Maybe a little in shock. Although I believe their players stepped away for a moment.
Yeah,
But I'm down for to be princess carried, absolutely.
we can have Bask and Fish being the closest to the exit, followed by Dash, and then Arthur is still kind of on scene.
Bosk will definitely be looking to see, like, where are the unseen? Are they by, like, the main entrance? Can he pick them out?
Yes, you can pick them out by the fact that they are the ones dressed uniformly non-conspicuously, if that makes any sense. Think of the servants and the waiters at any major function you've ever been to. Those people who are dressed in such a way that if you're looking for them, you can spot them, but otherwise they disappear into the crowd. So you know that most of the doors are guarded, or at least were when you came in, and that entire platform was guarded, and that there are probably unseen moving throughout the crowd now.
He'll definitely be looking for any door that is the closest to him to just barrel on through.
Okay. Probably the closest door to you right now would be one of those side entrances that gets you into the back hallways of the racetrack.
That is definitely the direction he's going in.
Okay. I'm gonna have to throw some kind of complication at you. Let me think about this for just a second. I think that one of the reconciled that has been unfortunately touched by your demon is going to get in the way of you rushing towards that door, especially since Dash in particular is the source of the power that brought this demon into the world, and that sort of power is exactly what feral ghosts need to survive. So how do you want to overcome this?
Do they have physical form? Remind me.
Sort of.
They can
They can
only
definitely touch
be-
you.
Yeah, they can only be hurt by like electric weapons.
Mm-hmm.
I'm less concerned about hurt and more just I want to see if I can shoulder check through.
You can certainly try.
Weird sensation.
So
You
skirmish.
might end up with a ghost inside you. Let's take a look. Let me take a look at your skills real quick.
Sure.
Okay. I think in this case, you intend to do it as a skirmish because that's where your mindset is at.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I'm gonna need a command. And normally,
Okay.
we don't ask for rolls in this system, but you realize as you go to shoulder check this thing that it didn't stop at your shoulder. It went into you.
Okay. This is fine. This is great.
And I need you to try and push this thing back out.
Okay.
Ooh.
This is pleasant. Position
What's your command at?
2.
Ooh.
Okay. Would you like help?
Ooh, I might be able to assist with this, given I do have a demon bane charm.
Yeah.
That's demons though, not ghosts.
Spirit Bane charms are a separate
Oh.
item that exist.
I
Oh,
do
yeah.
have that.
Oh,
You do have a Spirit Bane charm. Okay,
Yes.
so that gives you an automatic plus on your roll.
Sweet. What position?
Oh, this is desperate. This is absolutely desperate.
I mean, I
I'm
will
gonna
accept
get
that answer.
standard effect because
Okay.
you know this is somewhat limited to what you're doing right here and right now. This is a very specific problem, not the larger one.
And then +1 for the spirit bane charm, right?
Correct.
And can I just push myself to get the extra 2? Or the extra 1?
You absolutely could.
I am definitely doing that, and that's 2 stress, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I am desperate to get the fuck out of here. So 2 bonus dice then, and pushing myself only gives me the 1 bonus dice, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. Shazam.
Oh, good call on the last one. Wow.
Okay.
This has been tense. Very
Yeah.
good. Wow.
Alrighty. So, as you feel this thing pass through you, you feel your mind intersect with its, and there's a little spark of the person that this ghost once was, even just so briefly moments ago, still within it, but it's being just utterly torn apart by the electroplasmic interference created by this demon that just got summoned. And for a minute, for just a moment, there's that little part in the back of your mind that is like, maybe I should just reach out and try and, you know, call out to the person they were to tell them that this isn't who they are. And then you drop that and you're immediately like, no, fuck you. And you kind of mentally kick out and just slug them in the jaw. As far as spirits have jaws, anyway. And we see this ghost effectively ejected from your body through sheer force of will. And I think I will allow you to have escaped with Dash on your shoulder.
Baller.
Fish.
Fish.
And Fish, excuse me. So, the other two of you, how would you like to complete this last slice of the pie to try and escape?
Well, I'm about to go and do some anime bullshit, which is,
We
brand
love
that you love from Nathan Blades. I'm going to go and tick one of the items in my list of throwing knives. But this is something that Arthur has worked on. These are not regular throwing knives. These are antenna knives, or antennives if we want to make a portmanteau out of it. Like
Oh,
the
we love
handle of these things works as kind of like electrical and radio conduits.
Ooh, I love it. I love it.
And
Give me that
he is
flavor.
gonna like hurl that thing into the demon and kick in one of my special abilities, Tempest. You can push yourself to do one of the following: unleash a stroke of lightning as a weapon, or summon a storm in your immediate vicinity. So yeah, the electricity that lives within Arthur's golden bones, the curse that was placed upon him by a demon for his hubris and wishing for extreme wealth, to just be in the same way that the reason why lightning strikes is like a heavy difference in ions from one place to another. Just pull the electricity out of this dude and strike himself with lightning instead.
Okay. What are we rolling about it?
I would, well, If this doesn't with the yes, okay, yeah, I would like to roll skirmish, because this isn't going to kill the demon or like defeat it or anything. We're holding a position here, which is part of the effects of skirmish. So this is to essentially grab the demon's attention and remove some of the bad vibes it is emanating.
Okay. Interesting. Interesting. You want to reduce the chaos in this area instead of escaping it. Interesting. Okay.
I want to be seen looking like I am helping.
Okay. All right. Okay. So I got to give this to you as desperate. This is a chaotic situation. Have you used these for anything similar to this before?
There has been instances of I think we get two like brief flashbacks of this. There are a couple of these antennives that are like jammed into rooftops relatively nearby the golden hour to kind of boost the electrovox signal. But also there has been a kind of like heist or something before, where he has like set a handful of these up in advance somewhere and then fired a lightning bolt into them while somebody was chasing the gang, and that like lightning jumping from knife to knife shocked the dude pursuing us.
Okay. Okay.
That kind of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I've set a trap up in advance because that is very much what Spider's toolkit is supposed to be.
I love it. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to give you 1 stress for that flashback,
Absolutely.
but I was going to give this to you for limited effect. I'm going to upgrade that to standard. And because it's a relatively large target, I will give you an extra die for free, because I am a
Thank you very
benevolent
much.
GM.
Standard. And we are rolling the 1 bonus dice. I cannot push myself because I've already pushed myself to even throw lightning around.
Does your crushed strawberry help out in any way? just bringing that up again.
Arthur drinks the crushed strawberry and gains 10 MP.
Oh my god.
That's what the plants crave.
This setup is fine. It's not Final Fantasy 14. I'm not eating it to do additional electric damage. All right, here we go. Oh, it's a crit, baby. 2 sixes.
Perfume and
Okay.
lightning. Here we go.
Okay, so this is okay because it's a critical. You actually get an increased effect. So you mark XP because it was already desperate. Just wanted to remind everybody of that.
Cool.
So I think this is going to allow you to escape the thoroughfare and make your way into the back hallway as well. Because of the increased effect, I think you not only pull some of the power off of this thing, but because of the antennae that are now jammed into it, the reconciled who had been affected, the ones who have been worst affected, the ones that are the closest, are drawn to this demon like a magnet, while a couple of the ones that were just kind of barely within the radius of the effect, you actually see sort of re-resolve back into their more humanoid forms and start to look around like, what's going on? What just happened? Where was I? Where was I? Why was David Bowie there? Ah. And realize kind of, I'm just going to sprinkle this in for you. Like, this is an effect that's reversible for them. Maybe that'll be important later. Who knows? But as a result of some of them being drawn further towards this, other people are really taking note of how much of a danger this demon is now. The fact that it's trying to pull these ghosts in. And so everyone's focus is now much more on this demon that has been summoned than either you or Dash. So the two of you are now going to be able to escape.
You probably have to grab Dash by the collar as she's looking at this creature that she's manifested, and just the grin sort of spreading across her face, marveling at it in its entirety.
Dash, how the fuck do we seal this thing away again?
We don't. It'll run out of energy in about 3 or 4 days.
Well, the kind of like, surely me draining some of the electricity out of it would have done something. He says, like, actively sparking. There are like arcs of electricity jumping between like dreads and stuff. Your hair is probably standing on end for the fact that he's making physical contact with you.
Yeah.
Like putting a hand on like a plasma ball.
So, oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it'll be pulling from the energy of the crowd and the energy that you've fed it effectively. I think it may be some attuned to the, well, I suppose Storm Demon would be quite appropriate, really.
So something I will give you is that I've already filled in an extra slice of the Navigate the District pie as overflow for that critical success. And I also removed a couple of wedges from the Unseen catching up with you because they have slightly more important things to focus on right this second. So you are aware that the Unseen have sort of pivoted their attention away from you to the larger threat. And they might be able to take care of it themselves given the amount of power that they have, but you also have a limited amount of time that they'll have shifted their attention.
Catching up to everybody else. All right, lads.
Everything feels a lot better now, doesn't it? It's like everything's back to normal, shall say.
I elect my future mode of transportation to be Bosk. Forever.
How is this better? We're accused of killing one of the most important people in the city.
Oh, I missed that.
You didn't, did you? I didn't even see you lift an arm.
No, I didn't, and he'll show the gun from his pocket. We've been set up. It's the goddamn fog bastards and the hive.
Well, you're gonna have to throw that into the lake fucking immediately then.
Well, it's a good thing that all around this district, separating it from the next district over, is a river. You just have to pick which way you're going.
Is this a glance at the world map kind of thing? Or
I believe it is, yes. Give me just a moment to pull that up for you.
And to scroll things over. Oh, no, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just do it that way. So, you are currently in Night Market, which is the district on the bottom right-hand side. And you've got connections to 3 different districts over the rivers. You can either head towards Coleridge, Charter Hall, or Six Towers. Which direction? Oh, and I can give you a little bit of distinction or description for each of them. Coleridge is home to most of the industrial area of the city. It's got a mine, it's got the ironworks, Brixton, which is sort of a densely packed residential area, and an old rail yard. And then we've got Charter Hall, which is kind of the oldest district of the city. It's got the original wall that saved the city during the Cataclysm, as well as the crematorium, which all of the dead are expected to be disposed of in to prevent their ghosts from rising again. Kind of Clerk Street. It's kind of the business district. It's the downtown, the old buildings, all where the most prestigious places are, kind of a thing. And then you've got Six Towers, which is formerly the most prestigious district that has faded over the centuries to a pale shadow of what it once was. Originally, the eponymous Six Towers were grand residences of the first noble families, but now all but 2 have been sold off and converted to cheap apartments.
So I hate to ask this question, but which district would have the most or the highest police presence?
The highest police presence would absolutely be in Charter Hall. Although Six Towers is relatively close behind because of the continued presence of 2 of the noble families.
Right.
Coleridge is feeling like the best bet.
Oh,
I would agree. Yeah.
I would argue that we go to Charter Hall because if we're being chased by a bunch of criminals, then we want them to engage in the police for extra distraction. Also, because Coleridge, the air there, fish doesn't like it. It's like leading a fish to an oil spill,
Well, just to put it out there, the Bluecoats in this city are classified as just another crew because of the amount of bribery and violence that they pursue on the lower classes.
Fair enough.
So,
which did we have another crew or faction we were allied with?
Well, we do have a couple. I may have to go and bring that information up on my end though. Hold on.
Yeah, I have to.
Because we did have a bit of a chat about ones we have a relationship with. In fact, our crew spreadsheet, like character sheet, has that info.
Yeah, we were at odds with the Foghounds, but doesn't say who we're good with.
So, here's some things, okay, I'll go ahead.
Oh, got out there, Draco?
Oh, sorry about that. I'm on push to talk, and I let go of the button.
You good.
So, short of making a massive number of adjustments to something, I can bring you over to the relationship page for us. But for obvious reasons right now, a lot of these relationships are going to be more strained than they are currently labeled as.
How about you go and give us a kind of like top 2 besties?
Sure. Okay, so groups
criminals.
that you are in good with. You have previously been in pretty good with the Ciphers, who are the messengers of the city, as mentioned before, as well as the various sailors, dock workers, Leviathan hunters, and the citizens overall of the docks district. Unfortunately, you are across the city from home right now. And while you are on neutral territory, and you had previously been on the up and up with the Unseen, you are now at war with them for obvious reasons.
I see.
The Lampblacks might be a good people to show up with, because
one of the gangs that weren't invited to this whole thing, barring the Hive, of course, might be able to help us out with this.
I will also remind you that you're all card-carrying members of that little unformed union of coffee houses, and there are plenty of those in every district.
Oh shit! Where all the bohemians? Yeah. Okay. I'd say we crash. We hide out at the coffee shop. We had a drink at this afternoon.
Oh, because they have
their
tunnels
main
underneath to go to
location.
other locations, don't they? Because we had a conversation
That they
about
do.
that before. Ah, good
And
memory.
wouldn't you know it,
And
They're,
I suggest that. Oh, sorry, Draco. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that the precious beans actual location is near one of the bridges to another district.
And the ciphers, if they're like the messengers, then they would know the best way to distribute information about how, hey, we actually didn't kill this guy.
You did also previously have an apparently good conversation with Aunt Angie, if you can make it back to her.
Haha, true. Oh shit. Yeah, no, we need to see Aunt Angie. We need to see Comtessa Angelina.
And this is why you sell drugs to old people.
Exactly. Kids, PSA,
Moral of the story.
Neon Caster Channel sponsored message. No, I'm not finished yet.
Okay, so what district are we headed for then?
So which let's do it this way then. Which district is the precious bean closest to?
Give me just a moment to figure that out. Let's see. They are near the bridge that goes to Charter Hall.
Because we are going, I think we're heading towards a potential kind of like break in the session. A suggestion that we kind of is there bits and pieces to do in the jump to there?
Yes, we want to fill in the rest of the navigate the district. But that's one or two good checks away, really.
Gotcha. Let's go.
Well, I reckon I can sabotage that.
Oh yeah. But I've got basically you're just trying to get your way across the district, and I've got a couple of obstacles to throw at you along the way. But yeah, we are nearing the end.
No problem. In that case, yeah, we're walking and talking in this kind of way. Arthur's kind of like, right, let's get back to the precious bean, and I can go call in a favor. If nothing else, it'll be a way for us to hang low for 30 seconds while we work out what else we need to do.
Definitely, I'll take the high ground. I'll be able to catch out in case anybody's making a run to cut us off.
Okay, so you make your way through these back hallways relatively quickly. Obviously, this is a place that was mostly ignored by those in charge, because why would we pay attention to where the servants work, right? Well, much to their disdain, you are now using that as your escape route. And you're able to get out of Reen's hound track, but you find that the market outside has become just as much chaos as the arena inside. So you've got basically this big old open area full of stalls and multiple layers, full of food, drink, clothing, art, knickknacks, alchemical supplies, leatherwork, buskers, all trying to figure out where they should be and how they can prove that they weren't involved in what just happened. So, let's go around the digital table and see what we want to do about it. We'll start with Dash. How about that?
Yeah. So as I said, I think she'll probably suggest to be looking to take the high road. Given I've got the option to reach for gear, I think I'll use one of my 2-pointer ones, if that's all right. As with a sort of slight cut and a wiggle of these fantastically huge trousers, she should reduce her climbing kit, which she has had wrapped around her legs this entire time.
Amazing.
Nice.
And will immediately jump to where she's most comfortable. Clambering up to the higher point, so I can sort of jump almost from stall top to stall top to into the like overhanging rafters around some of the higher buildings, and try and keep an eye for and look out for blockages or pathways through to direct the rest of the party.
Okay. What would you like to roll for me about that?
I'm trying to think what would probably be appropriate. I'm assuming I've used Prowl for my last roll, but it is again feeling probably the more appropriate one. Unless there's...
Stick with it if it's what works.
Okay.
I think we're going to be in a risky position now. We are out of the main chaos. And since you've got the climbing gear, we'll leave it at a standard effect.
Okay. So... risky... Oop. And standard. No bonus.
Mm.
Decent.
Okay, so you do it, but you suffer a consequence.
Mhm.
I think the consequence here is going to be that on your way up, you catch yourself on a nail, uh, and it's just this structure, while it's strong enough to support the stalls that are at kind of the upper levels, it was rather hastily constructed, and unfortunately, let's see. One, you're going to rip the dress minorly, which is going to be a problem in and of itself later on down the line. But let's take a look at some harm because we haven't actually done that yet. Unless you would like to resist.
I can. Is it resist by gaining stress?
So the way that resistance happens in this is you start with 6 stress and you roll against it and reduce the amount of stress you take by what you roll essentially.
Oh, okay.
I'll look at some of the different harms. Yeah, it's going to be a lesser harm, so it's nothing major. So if you want to just take it if you want, but the resistance roll would be suffer 6 stress minus whatever you roll for your resistance roll.
I see. I think I'll just take the less effect. She's probably in quite a almost high spirits and adrenaline sort of going at this point, and just kind of happy to be more sort of away from the large space and all those gangs and things.
Okay.
As dangerous as the current situation is.
Okay. So I'm going to say it's going to be lesser harm. We'll say I don't want to say it's deep cut because that would be moderate harm.
Painful grace, maybe.
Yeah, we'll write it down. Yeah, write it out like that.
She swings herself up and just manages to drag her shin across one of the slightly rough edges of the old woodwork or something.
Okay, so that gives you 2 pips there. And let's see. Well, 3 was a failure, so I'm going to give the unseen 1 pip as well. I'm playing a little bit fast and loose with how the clocks work, just to keep the tension out.
Oh, yeah.
But they've got people out there looking for you, so any sort of possible weakness, they will exploit that. So, all right. So next up on, as far as I can see anyway, is AU. So Arthur, how you doing? What are you doing to progress the group forward out past this crowd?
Yeah. Let's see. I think. He. Actually, yes. He goes and spins a tale of, because Fish is still being kind of like carried by Bask, I think, as we're kind of like running from the scene, and he puts on a very good show of like, oh, somebody clear the way. We've had an injury. We need to get this man to hospital stat. Clear out the way. Clear out the way. He's bleeding out.
Okay. All right. So, how do you want to try and convince people of that?
I would let me double check the phrasing on these. Okay. Yeah. This is a sway roll, I think, where we're kind of very much kind of manipulating the circumstances into what we need it to be.
Okay. That's going to be 1 die, it looks like, for you. Are you going to push yourself, or would you maybe like to ask for a devil's bargain?
I can help by adding a little bit of drama.
Yeah, sell it for me.
Okay. Fish in keeled over in the arms of Bask goes,
I looked upon the rotting sea and drew my eyes away. I looked upon the rotting deck, and there the dead men lay. I looked to heaven and tried to pray, but or ever a prayer had gushed, a wicked whisper came and made my heart as dry as dust.
A ghost has possessed him and has made him spout bad poetry. This is serious.
Okay, that is definitely worth a die. Okay.
I'll take another stress.
Anything else
what's
you'd like to throw on that?
I'm not going to push myself under current circumstances. That would be 2 dice in total, right? What's the position and effect?
Position here is going to be risky, and we're going to say standard effect.
China problem.
Woo!
Partial. That's as much as good as I would have expected the circumstances.
Okay.
Glad I did that bad poem.
Okay. So, you do it, and people do definitely get out of the way. But as you call out and as you kind of yell to clear the crowd, you spot that one of the people who jumps aside is somebody that you handed a business card to earlier, and they recognize you. And you realize that, oh wow, I really wrote those business cards well with a lot of information on them. And you realize that they're going to remember you.
Oh wow.
All right.
Well, at the very
I told
least,
you that
maybe
would
we'll
come
for
back
a
to
cup
haunt
of
you.
coffee. Absolutely, good callback. Hopefully they'll come here for a cup of coffee, but for now, let's keep going.
All right. Fish, you assisted on that last roll, so is there something you want to add to this, or do you want to let Bosk take the next action?
I don't think there's anything I can do from my princess position.
All right, Bosk, carry us home then. What's the last step to escaping this
son of a bitch.
Yeah, well, you know, you're making your way through the crowd. There's an open thing there, but you definitely hear people calling out for "Smile the Widest" behind you, the unseen.
So we're still in the stadium, right? We're making our way outside of it.
No, you have actually exited the stadium and are in the sort of marketplace outside, trying to lose them in the crowd.
Okay. Can I, just as I'm walking by like a stand or something, like break part of the stand so it falls over behind us?
Ooh, you are carrying fish with you.
Uh-huh.
I will allow that.
Okay.
Would you rather it be risky with limited effect or desperate with standard effect?
Again, you're a son of a bitch.
I love giving you choices.
Yeah. Let's go risky with standard effect.
Okay. Or risky with limited, you mean?
Yes, that's what I meant.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I'm going to use my second charge of foresight to assist this teammate without paying stress.
Ooh, lovely.
This is we get a shot back to because I think at this point we're probably nearer the precious bean, and like on the way over, Arthur was kind of like inspecting some of the other stalls and kind of like tea houses and so on and so forth on the road over, because you got to see what the other rivals are doing, how they're building
And
their stuff.
judging them completely.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Look at this thing.
And this one was like super rickety, and he was kind of like, well, they're clearly not spending their profits on maintaining their housing.
Okay.
You're gonna have an effective product. So yeah, this is this conversation between Arthur and you echoes in your mind as you go past this one. Yeah, this stand is rickety as shit.
And I'll push myself just to get the extra die.
So do you want to get the extra die there, or do you want to raise it to standard effect?
Oh, trying to think my history with rolling dice.
I mean, you've only got one more tick in the wheel, so this is more flavor than anything else.
I'm gonna go with just the limited effect still. I
Okay.
prefer the extra die.
Sure.
All right, so I'm doing a rack, limited, risky, and two bonus die, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Sam.
The fact that they appear over time is so stressful. Yes.
So delicious. Okay,
Number 6.
excellent.
Yeah.
So yeah, you do it. You manage to, you, as you say, hear that echo of that conversation from earlier, and realize that okay, so if I hit the side wall with my hip, that's going to take the back wall down and knock over the support with the little awning hanging off the front, and the whole thing is just going to come down. And if it comes down the right way, it's also going to knock out the support for the stall that's standing above it on the next level up. And you just start kind of building this like set of dominoes in your head as you charge forward. And you do it. You go through this little sidewall of the stall, and the whole area around it collapses. It's somewhat of a miracle that your friends didn't get caught in the collapse as well. And you can hear a couple of people screaming, like apparently there were still some people in the stall up above. And in the chaos, the four of you disappear out of the crowd and into the night, heading for the actual location of the precious bean, where those hard, solid, warm walls will protect you for an hour or so as you plan your next moves.
One quick thing before we close out. Arthur, like, you know, the door, I like to think that the door to this place is the kind of like bell on it when you hit it. And as the door kind of like bursts open, Arthur and the rest of the gang kind of storm in, ignore the pleasantries from Verdi, and Arthur like slams the potion bottle full of mashed strawberry. I've got an innovation on how we can do our coffee. I'm giving you this in exchange for for a favor, a pretty big one.
Okay. Well, take a seat. We'll talk about it. And so you do. You start discussing how the night went, and the fact that you're now on the wrong side of a lot of people, the wrong side of town, and maybe the wrong side of life, but that remains to be seen over the course of the next several sessions, I think. And we will play out the next sort of prep phase during the next session, because I think now is a great place to finish out.
Good work, everyone.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
I got quite dicey towards the end.
Oh, A Blades in the Dark is excellent for skinnier teeth.
But I was not expecting that sort of exchange with the ghosts to happen this early on in the session, or in the campaign. Like,
Thanks, Tom.
I had that in my back pocket, and I'm like, ooh, I get to bring a little bit of this like electronica vibe that the channel is known for to this world. And yeah, no, that happened right here and right now. Okay, beans. Okay.
Yeah. No, I was very excited. It's like, oh, we Mega Man Star Force now? We've got radio wave enemies? Yes!
Oh yeah. Well, like, I had that realization a week or two back. I was like, radio waves would really mess with the way that ghosts work in this world. How would that happen? And here we are.
It is cool as hell. Yeah. Do we have the time and energy to do kind of comments and kudos before we wrap up for today?
I'm good.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I'm also good.
Yeah.
Okay. For those who are tuning in and who aren't familiar, at the end of most of our sessions on the Neoncaster channel, we like to have a moment of comments and kudos, where we go around the table and then talk about a dope thing that another player did, another cool moment. And then maybe, if we're up for it, what we are excited about in the future. if you allow me to go first, I am very excited about the kind of because Basque is this is in the nicest way possible, surprisingly nuanced. I really like how he has a really firm grasp on doing the social side of the job, even though he's like self-admittedly that punching is his major forte and that he's making earnest attempts at both. Really cool. I really like that aspect of his character.
Oh shucks.
Co-signed.
I'll go next since you passed on to me. Frankly, both Dash and Fish, the kind of chaos they brought, I thought was the coolest goddamn thing. And just thinking about like, since it's the Warriors' influence, like how different that scene would have played out with this scenario. Like, holy shit.
Yeah, they just summoned a demon at the start of that. Yeah, that would be wild.
Like, also, I really enjoyed the fact that like half the group was kind of like into the speech and the other half wasn't. Like that was, I thought, really fascinating for me.
I was actually waiting to see what the others' opinion of that like suggestion by the tower was, because I wanted that 50-50 split. So I was waiting to go last, so I could basically be
so you could be contrarian.
Yeah, exactly.
Love it. Now, I'd like to dip in now. I'll absolute credit to Nathan for once again just like very casually, almost so easily, just I want to say like adding to the world building with a lot of the character actions. Just the whole, all of a sudden, yes, there is this barista line, and it's now got a union, and and the sort of, there's how the different characters all sort of roll together with it. I mean, there's a lot of examples that you do very easily in a session, but it's that very much sort of giving the characters and the GM something else to build off and just make that setting a little bit more deeper as well.
I'm glad that's fun and not annoying, because obviously as I'm not GMing, I'm like, how much world building should I do? Because I'm not a... So go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, I was very glad when you brought that kind of a thing up, because that was something I'd kind of dangled, and I was hoping that y'all would kind of latch onto. I'm like, come on, you know you've got this. There are more places for you to go. So yes, I love that you strengthened that for us all.
Yeah, no, it's all good. I mean, a lot of, even though I guess Blades in the Dark is a game about being a criminal, it's mostly also about trying to survive while being broke, and that kind of requires a lot of community effort to do sensibly. So finding opportunities to kind of express that in world is something that I always enjoy doing. So yeah, coffee union.
Oh yeah. I'd like to give kudos to Tom, because that whole thing with Dash and the dress, I thought it was so adorable and endearing. So I really enjoyed that, and also just I'm very glad that that everyone like found the way to interact with the way I play Fish, because it is a particular character. It's also like a new kind of character for me, I feel. So trying to like have a chemistry with that was a struggle. I could sort of like sense that in the beginning, but I think everyone landed on their feet and we've got a really good gang going.
Are you going to be releasing the book of poetry after the campaign? It's like a bonus backer feature, or
yeah, all you have to do is just Google Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner and you have
oh yeah.
Nice. And what are you maybe looking forward to in sessions in future?
Ooh.
I'm looking forward to putting a little bit of like backstory strings of Fish and adding that into the chaos. But maybe we'll talk about that, Draco.
Okay, I look forward to that.
I think I'm definitely looking forward to what shenanigans Draco's going to pull out for us. Because I know they have just spreadsheets full of crap.
Not lying. That is actually a thing I do.
Well
Red
prepared.
sheets. Oh my god.
Oh yes. Oh, the standard piece of advice that I always try to give young GMs is to not overplan things, but that's at distinct odds from what I do, where I plan so much that it's a spider's web back
Do
here,
as I
y'all.
say, not as I do.
Mhm.
I mean, it's a thing. Being their player for so long, I've noticed that they're just very much a let's follow what the dice say.
Mm.
So it's not planning in the sense of they're going to go here, here, here. These are all the things that could possibly happen that I've thought of. Whee!
Yeah, it's having a reserve, like a pool of things to
Yeah.
pull from. Yeah.
Mhm. Which string are you going to pull next? That's all it is.
No, absolutely. I mean, I must admit that I'm very much looking forward to just seeing more of how the different heist types work. Because I've played historically like a handful of games which run in a similar sort of thing. Shadowrun would probably be the best example.
Mhm.
And the few examples I've had of where it's just descended into 2 solid hours of like planning for every eventuality and then just doing a botched heist afterwards and it not being that great an experience, but that just sort of flowed so smoothly and worked really well. So yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing more of it. And also on a personal character thing, what's in the mystery box in Dash's lab? We just don't know.
For me, now that we've established that the hobby of Electrovox, that the electricity that are summoned by things like demons and the effect that they have on ghosts, literally like a vibe check, I am looking forward to getting hold of like an Electrovox unit and casting radio magic.
Oh yeah. And adding to that, I'm looking forward to Aunt Angie's next broadcast.
It's going to be an interesting one. But we'll find out at the top of the next session about that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And with that, we're just going to go pop over to our little chatting stream right here as we go and wrap up the show to say thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for tuning in. What we like to do at the end of these shows is to go and pass on the love to somebody else. Transplanar RPG is currently streaming, who are another delightful set of tabletop individuals. So what we're gonna go and do is that we're gonna make sure that that's set up. There we go. We've got that going. Thank you very much for the stream. There will be general announcements out when our next episode is prepared. It would be fortnightly, but obviously now that we're entering into the winter break, everybody's schedules are going to be a little bit different. So we're going to go and work out where we be and then let you all know as soon as possible. But thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you tune into the next one. Let's go and get that Oh, you're just gonna go and give me an error, Twitch. Hold on. Don't be shit. Hold on. Tech.
Not fun unless something breaks.
This exit was going so smooth, and then it was like, no, you don't get to end the show properly.
No, won't let you.
Yeah, it's not letting me raid people. Have I lost the privilege to raid people, or did they just go offline? No, they're still live. It's just not working. Let me try one last time.
I was gonna say, might they have raids blocked because of the nastiness that was happening?
That makes sense. Well, we can go send over to another set of friends of mine. Well, friends of mine, it's a show that I appreciate a lot. I don't think they know that I exist. But Surprise Round RPG are also doing some streaming at the moment. They're incredibly professional. They have excellent artwork and voice actors for their bits and pieces. So we're going to go and send them the love. When you pop into chat, say that the Neon Cast Essentials and give them well wishes. And as that is preparing, why don't all of you say goodbye?
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Do
See you all again soon.